6:01 at the MJ Morning Show as we get rolling here on a Tuesday morning. A lot going on today. You know, one of the things I'm noticing is a little bit of a shift in that initially you saw all the furniture out in people's yards and at the curb. Then you'd see all the other belongings as well and mattresses. And then I started seeing carpet that was ripped out and rolled up. Even wood flooring all over the place. I was on Davis Islands yesterday, stopping by a friend's house that got nailed. They had a couple of feet of water in their garage on Davis Islands, not far from TGH. And in his neighborhood, I saw like wood floor that was just ripped up out of houses. And like I said, carpets. And now I'm starting to see drywall. So it's like the progression of the flooding aftermath from the storm surge that affected so many people. The chunks of, drywall that are being pulled out. And, there's a kind of a rule of thumb on drywall on how much you remove. And I'll mention that later on. But, you just can't cut to the water line or like an inch above. You have to go, higher. And there's a FEMA recommendation. But again, it's just heartbreaking to see the amount of destruction, the property that's being tossed to the curb. You have I know, Fester, you didn't like when I used the term scavenger. I didn't mean that in a negative connotation yesterday. I was just talking about the folks and these are not bad people, but the people that are cruising through the neighborhoods and looking to repurpose all of the belongings that people are throwing out at the curb. And just, yesterday still going through my neighborhood. Yeah. And, of course, on Saturday and Sunday over the weekend, I would see neighbors put something out at the curb, and it would be gone in minutes in some cases. And I saw, dozens and dozens of people cruising through in pickup trucks, picking up all kinds of stuff. Absolutely. Yeah. So, again, the cleanup continues. It's going to be quite a while. Again, my heart breaks for all those that are just nailed by this thing in a, once-in-a-century storm. We haven't seen anything like this since 1921. This is 103 years later that we had a hurricane 100 miles off our coast that brought this inundation. So if you were just listening to the opening of the program, folks, and you heard this particular piece of audio.
Where is Froggy? Can you guess? In the John with IBS.
Well, he's been in there a long time, since about July 1st, if that's the case. No, some good news. Froggy will join us this morning. Fester, you have to call him and wake him up at 7:02.
I do?
Yes.
I'd be happy to.
Text him, call him. Froggy had a couple of feet of water in his house.
Oh, man.
In Town and Country.
Yeah, the Baycrest area.
He's in Baycrest, and Baycrest got hit. Just so many areas, whether it's Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco, Hernando, Citrus, Manatee, Sarasota. Just so much as far as the inundation. So Froggy will join us at 7:47. One of the most beautiful aircraft ever made, the 747, the queen of the skies. So Froggy at 7:47, and he sent me a text. Make sure Fester checks on me to be sure I'm awake 45 minutes prior. So I don't know what kind of... Seriously, I've got specific instructions.
He didn't wake up to come into the show 45 minutes prior. Did he use that much time?
Hello? So 45 minutes. So if we're supposed to have him on at 7:47...
Okay.
Then 45 minutes prior would be 7:02.
I'll get a hold of him.
Maybe he has to do vocal warm-ups.
Yeah, right.
I have no idea, but he gave me explicit instruction. Oh, and then he said you better promo my return. And did you see I put up an Instagram post yesterday? Hang on a second. My phone is. I'm getting texts already. My phone's blowing up. All right, so let me go to my Instagram and I'll tell you what I posted. Yeah, that's my last post. And it says, Froggy is back, 7:47 a.m., MJ Morning Show on 104.7 FM, Q105. And it's a little video that I did. Oh, holy crap. It's got 8,500 views. I posted this at like 9 o'clock last night.
Whoa.
Yeah, because Froggy said, okay, I'll come on 747, talk about the house and, what they're undergoing. And Michelle, my lovely wife, has a whole bunch of boxes. Like we've got like an attic area above our garage.
Yeah.
And Michelle's been saving all kinds of good like moving boxes because, hell, we could be out of here anytime. So we're going to bring over a bunch of moving boxes to help Froggy and Kim because they still need to move stuff from their first floor up to their upstairs. I just got to make sure that it's not waterlogged or...
Yeah, they're staying with their in-laws right now. They're staying with Froggy's parents.
Yeah. So, again, Froggy's house, couple of feet of water, just off of Memorial, just before you get to Hillsborough, so Town and Country, Baycrest area.
And
So
we had a couple of calls yesterday from that same community.
We did.
There's a bunch of canals, and the water had nowhere to go.
Froggy's house is right on a canal. Froggy at 7:47 this morning. Dennis Phillips will join us at 7:30. People are freaking out. MJ, Helene, part 2 is coming. No, folks, don't freak out. There's some activity in the western part of the Caribbean again, off of Central America, like in the same area where Helene formed, and we watched it thread the needle through the Yucatan Channel and then into the Gulf. But the computer models are showing nowhere near the potential for development. Obviously, we have to watch this, but Dennis Phillips will be on with us at 7:30 this morning. So I want to hear a little recap from Dennis now that he's had time to catch his breath and really observe what happened. Dennis Phillips will be dropping his daughter off again. He drops his daughter off, I think, Tuesdays. He drops, so that's why we can get him early after he does. No, seriously.
I know.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's his schedule.
After he does the 11 o'clock news on ABC Action News, Channel 28, then, he doesn't get home till like 1 a.m., and then, he deserves his sleep. But for Tuesdays, the schedule is he brings his 10-year-old daughter to school, so he's available for us early. So 7:30, Froggy at 7:47. A lot of stuff scattered throughout the program today. And, we're going to also bring some normalcy back to the show. So it'll be a weave and a mix today, also grabbing your phone calls. So a busy show. Don't move. Back in minutes. Just getting started. MJ Morning Show 104.7 FM is Q105.
Infidels.
6:15, and as we start to get back to some normalized content, I do have an ultra creepy story to talk about later today. I'll weave it in when I find it appropriate. I don't know. Well, the story is completely inappropriate, but when I find a slot to kind of jam it into the program here, a little bit of a creepo factor. I don't know what possesses a guy to do this, but this is a sicko in the news, so we'll get to that. I will return morons in the news today, so I've got a nice little pile of morons in the next segment. Stand by. 6:20. I thought we'd grab a couple of early phone calls because we didn't grab early phone calls. We took calls after 7 o'clock yesterday, and I thought for the early listeners, we'd grab some calls here on your neighborhood. How did you do? How bad are things where you are? Talk about the recovery efforts, what you've witnessed, whether it's you, family, friends. You can fire up the phones right now. We'll do an early call segment right now, just a few minutes into the show. 800-990-1047. That's how you get in. Right now, 800-990-1047. We are working with the American Red Cross. I said that we're going to use our microphones and our ability to reach to assist. And Beasley Media, our company, we are teaming up with the American Red Cross to raise money to get the resources to people who need it. Yeah. A lot of things are popping up. You've got restaurants donating food. Just a lot of things are happening. And we're going to bring you everything you need to know. As much as we possibly can. I'll give you the Red Cross information numerous times this morning, but this is a time where neighbors need to step up and communities step up to help each other.
Yeah, help each other.
Because this is going to be a recovery period. Again, this is a 100-mile offshore storm, and look what it did with the storm surge. But this is going to be a several-month recovery or more for many, many people. There are folks that I don't know how they're going to get up on their feet again because their homes were wrecked. They did not have, appropriate insurance coverage to handle an event like this. And in many cases, they didn't need certain coverages, that they weren't in an area that required flood insurance or an area that just saw more water than was ever seen. All right, if you want to get in, 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. Tell us how you're doing. Any stories, anecdotal observations, whatever you can add. I wanted to try to tap into the early crowd in the first few minutes of the MJ Morning Show and give you an opportunity to reach out. 800-990-1047.
So, MJ, I told you that over the weekend we were helping our friend on Bayshore. So you talk about the extreme of people not being able to get their life back because they don't have the insurance. But even if you're covered, just going through this process, it shakes you to the core because it questions your sense of security because this is your home. These are your belongings. These are things that it's just stuff, but it means something to you. And so we brought the girls to help our friend on Saturday, and Doug did a good job of telling them, because it was like alarming for them to see all of this. And he's like, just you girls being there to show our friend that you're with him, like right. That means so much.
Yeah, because I don't think you had your 4- and 7-year-olds ripping out carpet or anything.
No,
or
but
holding. Hey, 4-year-old. What's her name?
Daviana.
Yeah.
I've told you 1,000 times.
Grab that dresser.
Yeah, listen.
Daviana, take that.
No, but she was carrying glass bottles up and down the stairs, so I let her do that. I let her do some dangerous stuff.
That's safe for a 4-year-old.
Yeah, I let her do some dangerous stuff. But no, it just is. The point is if you're saying
maybe you could have her rip out some sharp metal fragments next.
They get down and dirty. They loved it. Doug and I got tired way before they did. But the point is, if you're saying what can I do to help somebody? Yeah. Just be there for them because then you're looking around saying, what do I have now? You have your friends. You have people who love you.
Let me grab phones. Not very good points. And, sometimes just even emotional support does help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scott's back on the line. Scott called in yesterday. Scott is at U-Haul. Is that Pinellas Park where he is? Scott, MJ Morning Show. Scott, welcome back, buddy.
Hey, good morning, buddy. I'm in Kansas City. I'm right on the line between Pinellas and Kansas City.
Yeah, okay. What do you got? A forklift backing up there? What's that? What's going on?
You get that truck out
No,
of
I
reverse.
mean, I'm still in propane like you wouldn't believe. I mean, this is total devastation.
What is the beeping like?
What-
The Price is Right, Showcase Showdown wheel flipping around. What is that?
I'm trying to tell you, this is crazy. Yep. But no, we're just busy, man, getting these U-Hauls out. They're left and right. I mean, they're coming in sunken, and it's something else, MJ.
Hold on, they're coming in. What do you say? They're coming in sunken.
Sunken. I mean, yeah. I
Drowned.
mean, these things been underwater.
All right, so you've had numerous U-Hauls that are being returned that were underwater.
Yes, sir.
Wow. All right,
Yeah.
and again, Scott, give your U-Haul location because you guys have propane. If people have tanks and they need
Yes, sir.
propane, they can go to your U-Haul location. You've got the big propane, the Amerigas or whatever the brand is. You've got the big
Correct.
tank to fill the small propane tanks, and your U-Haul is at where again? 66th and.
And 38th Avenue, 6020 38th Avenue. Yes,
All right,
sir.
Scott, thanks. I appreciate you having you on again here. Tracy in Tampa. Hi, Tracy. You're on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. Hi, Tracy.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm just calling to say I work for Hillsborough County. I work for the water department. And, we didn't take a direct hit. I mean, I cannot imagine a catastrophe we would be in if we took a direct hit. But I just want to say, remember our water and wastewater utility folks as well, because we're sending crews from Hillsborough starting today over to Pinellas to try to help out as much as we can to, get them folks back up and running. And it's all about being in a community, community effort and getting everybody, coming together. And it's so nice to see that. And I have friends and family that are affected by this storm in North Carolina and Tennessee and Georgia. It's just
Yeah, I mean, you see some of the videos coming out of the mountains of North Carolina and around Asheville, and some of the destruction is just unbelievable. Just the breadth of this storm is insane.
yes, it's such a disaster, and my heart goes out, my thoughts and prayers to all these people that are affected. And I mean, I'm blessed, and I know there are material things, but some of these things that these folks have, that they've lost, lifetimes of memories and, just the trauma of going through this and maybe being homeless. And, we just got to come together as a community and help out as much as we can. I mean, I wish there was more I could do.
Tracy, did you work for the city of Tampa or Hillsborough County?
I work for Hillsborough County, sir.
Gotcha. Yeah, in my neighborhood, the city of Tampa wastewater folks, they were out in my neighborhood. We've got a couple of lift stations near my house, and they were out there with generators, and I mean they were out there fast. So that's city of Tampa, but of course Hillsborough County, you guys are obviously doing everything possible, and because Hillsborough County is so huge and a lot of the inland areas were not affected, sounds like you're able to send crews to Pinellas to help them out.
We are. Our main areas, I think, that were affected for our lift stations and whatnot was probably the Apollo Beach area and Ruskin area. That was hit pretty hard. But our crews, like when Hillsborough County was closed down on Friday, we were at work. It's business as usual. We get out here, we just get it done. I mean, and we go where we need to go. And I'm grateful that, we weren't as impacted as Pinellas County, but we got to get out there and help our folks over there too. When it comes down to it, we're all one. We're all one community. Got to do what you got to do.
Tracy, thank you to you, all the Hillsborough County public workers, and all the counties that are within our listening area. Tracy, thank you for calling in. Good call.
Thank you.
All right, let me grab Bill in Spring Hill. Bill, MJ Morning Show.
Yeah,
Hi, Bill.
How you doing? This is Boomhauer Bill.
Hey, Boomhauer. What's going on?
Anyways, I was out in Hernando Beach in Hudson yesterday, and they had so much debris on the road, it was like they had to go down there with a loader, like plowing snow, to get all the debris out the road.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting those front loaders out. It's the amount of debris.
I mean, it was impassable. They had to plow the road, literally, and boats big boats, 3 triple motor boats. I mean, if the boats were in the road, they just smashed them out of the way, ruined them.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be for a long time,
I
Bill.
mean, you can't. Yeah, you can't use delicate, little forklifts or the boat hotel little lifts with padding to. If you got to clear the roads, you got to clear the roads.
Yeah.
Bill, we told the story yesterday. There was a guy named Fred. I saw Fred on the news, and Fred's on Treasure Island. And I guess Causeway area, Treasure Island.
Lives near the marina.
Yeah, he was near a marina. He had 11 boats in his yard. He comes back after the evacuation, and he finds 11 boats from the marina all stacked up in his yard. And then he gets into his house, and his house is wrecked. Hey, Boomhauer, thank you, buddy. Thanks for checking in. And again, let's not forget, again, like Hernando Beach, the areas in Pasco and Hernando west of 19. I mean, you can't even fathom the degree, the number of structures that were flooded with the surge, the square miles affected, the tens and tens of thousands of people affected. It's truly unbelievable. 6:30 at the MJ Morning Show here on Q105. Let's normalize a bit and grab the morons. How about a nice pile of early morons in the news next here on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. My friends... It is 6:39 at the MJ Morning Show. I got a little dilemma. You know what? It's not a dilemma. It's a little pause, I guess. Or am I questioning myself just a little bit on a particular morons in the news story? All right, let me just get to the cut to the chase here. All right. Is it okay for a 13-year-old to be a moron in the news?
Well, I mean, 13-year-olds are moronic at times.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, things like morons in the news, and the reason why I like them so much is that they really have no limits.
Well, listen, if you're Jewish and you're bar mitzvah, you become a man, right? Isn't that you're 13 and, you got bar mitzvahs for the boys, you get the bat mitzvah for the girls. But anyway.
Is this a Hebrew morons in the news?
No, it's a Ruskin.
I'm about to say, is it Herschel Horowitz and what he did?
It's Herschel Horowitz and Ruskin.
Let me tell you what I did to my bubby.
No, it'd be Moishe. Moishe Horowitz. No.
I wanted to convert so bad to Judaism when I was around 12. I mean, seeing my friends get bat mitzvah and bar mitzvah, I was just like,
really?
Yeah. And then Hanukkah, 8 days of presents. It was like,
I grew up in a Catholic town. We didn't feel that way. In Massapequa, we
when did you leave Long Island? How old were you?
I was 6th grade. About 12 years old.
I left New York in 5th grade. So the middle of 5th grade, I was I was born in New York City. We moved to Nanuet in Rockland, just outside, up the Palisades, about 20 miles. and we left in the middle. I mean, Christmas break in 5th grade. I left Miss Gerlitz's classroom, and we headed from New York to Virginia Beach, Virginia. So it was, quite a shift. All right, so here we go. All right, 13-year-old moron in the news from Ruskin. 13-year-old arrested for bringing a weapon to Beth Shields Middle School yesterday morning. A taser.
I mean, these kids have to know better.
Yeah, I mean, at 13 years old, you know not to bring any kind of a weapon. You don't bring a taser to school. And apparently she was having trouble with another student. So I guess she wanted to tase the taser. Hey, Andrew, don't we have some taser audio from some episode of Cops, or just check our archives. I think we've got some good taser audio. And, cops are trained to yell taser, taser, taser. I think it's a combination of letting the person know they're about to get tased, or also to alert other officers that you're about to deploy your taser to get out the way.
This year...
Move, bitch, get out the way. What song is that?
I think it's called Move, Bitch, Get Out of the Way.
Yeah, you just said the title.
That's exactly the name.
Roxanne, you sing it for me. Go.
Move, bitch, get out the way. Get out the way. Yeah, I'm Googling it right now.
All right, who does that?
It is Ludacris. How do we not know that? And the song is Move, bitch, get out the way. Get out the way.
Well, I'll tell you what's ludicrous.
Put a in there.
What's ludicrous is the 13-year-old girl bringing a taser to a Ruskin school yesterday to protect her. I mean, listen, she shouldn't be in a situation where she feels bullied or feels unsafe, but there are much better ways to deal with this situation.
It just seems...
That's a situation, okay?
This year, I don't know if it's exclusive to Hillsborough County, or
Right.
It just seems like there's so many more incidents of kids bringing things to school.
Well,
that
the
they
first
shouldn't be
week,
bringing, calling in bomb
Yeah.
threats,
Yeah.
or calling in...
Well,
things are going to happen.
Remember the first couple of weeks of school in the Tampa Bay area, Polk County, Pinellas County, Hillsborough County. We just had all these stories about threats to schools. It's like, what the hell is going on? All right, here's the
And
deal.
they catch you, and it never ends well. So you would think the word would be out. Don't
Yeah,
do this
they-
kind of stuff.
Catch you every time.
This happened at Beth Shields Middle School yesterday morning, according to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. The girl, 13, arrested bringing a taser to school. It was a Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office resource officer, a deputy, got a tip around 8 o'clock in the morning about a student spark testing. That's not... She didn't have the taser where it's like a pistol, the yellow, like the pistol-shaped taser where it fires the projectile wires with the barbs and like barb you, and they you gotta rip them out of your back.
Yeah, she didn't have that. She had like a little zapper.
With 20 feet of coiled wire in the aftermath. Yeah, so she had that little handheld thing with like the two metal probes where, like a little bit of a, hang on a second, I might have a noise here. Hang on. I don't think it quite makes that noise.
It makes an audible clicking sound.
Oh, the clicking.
Yeah, it does make
It's almost like a barbecue starter.
I thought it was more than that. I thought it was like a...
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. What else here? So, Hillsborough County deputies said that a taser was found in the 13-year-old's purse as they were doing a check. I guess the administration, they searched her belongings. Yeah, the teen borrowed the weapon from a family member.
Borrowed or stole?
It said this is the Fox 13 story. And the Fox 13 story says that she borrowed the weapon from a family member and brought it to school because she was having issues with another student. So what family member, again, taken without their permission, or, hey, big sis, or, hey, mom, can I bring your taser to school? I'm having trouble with another student there. Oh, yeah. Andrew's right. It's like a stun gun. Or,
that's what I'm looking for, a stun gun.
Yeah. Hey, Andrew, did you find any of the taser audio that I'm looking for? No, I thought we had some taser audio. Thought we had played some of that in the past. Yeah, according to deputies, the weapon was borrowed from a family member. Chad Chronister, Hillsborough County Sheriff, said it is unacceptable that someone would bring a weapon to school to terrorize another student. Thanks to the quick actions of our school resource deputy, we were able to prevent a potentially dangerous situation. Let me be clear, we will pursue every tip and do whatever it takes to keep our schools safe.
You know, the crazy thing is there's two sides to that. It's to where it's unacceptable that this student felt they were in such a threatened position by another student that this was their last and only resort.
Well, I would like to know the details.
Yeah,
like how threatened was this student? And there are much better ways to take care of it. You go to a teacher, you go to a guidance counselor, you tell your parents to call one of the administrators. Bringing a taser to school is not the answer.
No.
And still, I also want to know logistically what happened at her house where did she borrow, hey, I need a taser to bring to school. I mean, what happened there?
Mom, where'd you put the taser?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking for it. Where'd you put it, Mom?
Yeah, I need the blow dryer, the curling iron, and the taser,
And the
please.
taser if you have it. If somebody let her borrow it knowing they were going to take it to school, they're going to be going down to the jail pretty soon, too, right? That sounds like you're complicit in something.
Well, there could be contributing to the delinquency or, there are probably some. If an adult knew that the kid was bringing the taser to school and an adult gave the taser to the 13-year-old to bring to school, that could bring on a little host of charges for that individual. I would imagine that.
Can't we have good old-fashioned playground fights like we used to? Come on.
Just a punch in the nose or something.
Well, I can tell a lot less people have been punched in the nose lately.
Yeah. 6:48 at the MJ Morning Show. What about a creepy Pennywise-looking clown? Pennywise, you know who that is, right?
Oh, yeah, my kids talk about him.
And Pennywise is from what?
It.
Yes. Hold on. Wait, your kids are 4 and 7? They're talking about the creepy clown from It?
Yeah, on YouTube, there's some videos
Hold
where
on,
they reference.
your kids are watching It?
No, they're not watching It.
I mean,
but...
you got the scary clown and like
no,
this. No,
they're not watching It. They're watching all the recommendations that you give. They're too caught up in your Indian movie with the Tomahawk movie. They've been watching that. They've been watching The Shining. They've been watching. They've got a whole catalog of movies that they watch.
What are you talking about?
She's turning your line on you.
Yeah, I'm turning back on you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You recommend these most horrific movies. Oh, your kids will love this.
But that's a joke.
Yes.
And as is this.
Guffaw.
Roxanne knows that when I see a creepy movie like what was that what was the name of the Tomahawk?
Tomahawk Bone?
Yeah, Bone Tomahawk.
Bone Tomahawk.
Bone Tomahawk, or It. Yeah, your kids would be really comforted by the clown and the storm drain and the sewer.
No, there's some of those quote unquote family YouTube videos like Trin and Madison and these families that people watch. They sometimes reference Pennywise, but I don't think it's the Pennywise from It.
No, it's the Pennywise from It. It's just that it's a famous clown that's kind of
right.
spooky.
Yeah, a spooky clown.
Well, here's a story. We have a Tennessee Pennywise-looking thing. That's
naturally or with makeup.
No. This is
Tennessee.
The individual is not born looking like Pennywise. Is that what you want to know?
I don't know.
No, this is not natural. There's some features that have been added. There's some costuming and masking involved here. No, an intruder wearing like a Pennywise mask, the creepy clown from It, broke into a Tennessee garden center and stole a saw blade. Man, there's a lot going on here.
Wow.
Yeah. Unidentified individual had a flashlight, wore a blue jacket, white mask, crazy orange hair, kind of like the Stephen King killer clown from It. Yeah, kicked in a back fence at the JVI Secret Gardens. Yeah, the store owner, Derek Johnson, one of the business's owners, watched the shop security camera as Pennywise was walking around dressed in the creepy clown outfit.
Yeah, sure. He got an alert on his phone that something's going off in the store.
Motion sensors went off, and he had an alert on one of his security apps on his phone. And then I'm looking at the video because they put out the video of the individual, And it's a creepy prowler. I mean, a prowler is creepy enough, but when they were dressed like the killer freaking clown that gave people countless nightmares from the movie It, and this guy's walking around your garden center, that's a moron, creepy clown in the news.
I'm not trying to help thieves. I'm not trying to assist them. However, if he would have just wore a black ski mask, this wouldn't have made national news.
Pastor, don't give out tips like
I'm
that.
just- the fact
Well, it wouldn't
that-
have made national news.
So just
okay, it just would have been a low key.
Or like a bag over his head or a black ski mask. No news.
Nope.
Pennywise, It costume, big news.
Big news.
Right.
Yeah. He tried to steal a propane tank, but settled for ripping off a saw blade.
What was he going to do to saw blade?
What the hell? So police are still investigating. Oh, Andrew wants me to point out that Saw with the saw blade, Saw is a whole different franchise. Whole different movie franchise. Saw. What are they up to? Like Saw 10 now? How many Saw movies have been out?
They crank them out.
Andrew, don't tell us to that. Tell that to Tennessee Pennywise.
All right, 6:51 at the MJ Morning Show. When we get back, you know who wants to talk to us? Christina McElwain, who is the wife of Dr. McElwain, who was the home next to one of the Tampa area Tesla fires. The one in Beach Park, a couple of blocks over from where I live, and the Tesla Model S went up in the garage with the intrusion of the salt water from the storm surge and just destroyed this entire house. And remember, we had Gray Bull Rescue on yesterday. Man, the feedback that I got from that, people were riveted to that story. A 3 a.m. water rescue in chest-high water in Beach Park with kayaks and watercraft to get the family away from the fire, and then the next-door neighbor get them all evacuated. And the McElwains, and we've had the husband on, Dr. Mike McElwain, had him on, and they thought that their whole house was going to get torched also because the homes are pretty close together. They're about 10 feet apart. And the trees were all singed. So the wife of Dr. McElwain, she tried to call in yesterday as well because we had Silvana Murphy, who lived in the home. She fled with her 18-month-old and 5-year-old kid next door in this high water to the McElwains next door. And we had her on the phone yesterday while Gray Bull Rescue was in the studio. And then Dr. McElwain, we also had him on the phone as well. What a harrowing, unbelievable story. All right, 6:53. So we'll get to that coming up in a bit. I thought I was going to be off the hook with my vehicle and the fact that we took on some water in the garage. I am not driving my X5 this morning.
What?
Yes, so my X5 is in the shop. So I'll give you the full story. I'll let you know what's going on. Thanks to Veterans Ford, Lorenzo gave me an F-150 to drive. Nice vehicle. And hold on, I'll tell the whole story next. We're back in minutes on the MJ Morning Show here on Q105. Let's go. It is 7:02 at the MJ Morning Show. The 7 o'clock hour has begun. Yes, Fester.
I gotta do something, right?
Oh, you got to call Froggy right now. Well, text him first.
Text him first.
Yeah, so go ahead, text Froggy and just say, MJ said to wake you up 45 minutes before the appearance. All right.
Get the Froggy. All right, I'm going to send him a text. Drop your junk, punk.
What?
Wake up.
Drop your junk, punk?
What does that mean?
Wake up. Well, I can imagine.
Get your hands off your junk and wake up.
I think it's like wakey, hands off Snakey.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
That's a guy thing. I guess that's just in your private circles. You talk about that.
You never heard wakey, hands off Snakey.
I've never heard
You
that.
guys are lucky I didn't tell him to grab his socks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Froggy is going to join us, scheduled for 7:47. Dennis Phillips joins us at 7:30. What's this other system brewing out there that have people panicked? I've got some people that I know are like, oh, my God, it's coming again. It's Helene Part 2. All right, everyone calm down. Dennis Phillips is going to join us at 7:30. The models don't put it anywhere near what Helene had going last week. All right, so hang on. Dennis Phillips, ABC Action News, chief meteorologist, will be on with us at 7:30, 27 minutes from right now. So I thought all was well with my car. It is at the dealership. I'll give you the details on my vehicle, which was in the garage. We did take on water in the garage. Car's driving well. Well, I started the car after the show yesterday, and something happened. So hold on a minute. I'll give you my story in just a second. Let me call up Christina McElwain, the wife of Dr. McElwain, dentist. and of course, Dr. McElwain and his father, they have been my kids' dentist since they were 2. I mean, the first dentist we ever went to were the McElwains. And they live a few blocks away from me. They're right next door to one of the Tampa area Tesla house fires. Now, keep in mind, there are numerous Tesla house fires. You have the Davis Islands house fire, burnt the house to the ground. You have a Siesta Key house fire. You have the Pinellas County Tesla fire. That's the one where they're showing the car ignite inside the garage. And you can see it like torch underneath and light in the garage, in the water. You can see this thing catch on fire. I mean, that's pretty amazing. When you can catch on, it's like arc welding or something underwater. You know, those underwater welders, this Tesla. So that's another one. And then, of course, the one that affected my neighborhood is in Beach Park near West Shore and Kennedy. And whole house was destroyed. Family fled at 3 o'clock in the morning. The rescue from Gray Bull Rescue, who we had in the studio yesterday morning, is unbelievable.
Now, I've heard other instances of house fires where families have left, the power's been off, the power goes back on, they're not there, and something has caught fire. I've heard of at least one instance of that, and I'm sure that's happening. But I want to make the point.
And it's not just the cars. So
that's what I'm saying.
So it's other items that when the powers come on, that saturated extension cords or outlets or things have caught on fire. But we do have multiple electric car fires, and the bulk of these seem to be Teslas in the Tampa Bay area.
And you know what they say? There are 2 types of fires. There's a Tesla fire and a fire.
Who says that?
Oh, I never heard that before. I got Fire Marshal Roxanne over here.
Yeah.
All right.
Fire Marshal Roxanne.
That's right.
Fire Marshal Bill.
Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey on The Old and Living Color. Fire Marshal Bill.
I prefer to be compared to Smokey Bear. He's got forests covered, and I've got Teslas covered.
You said it right. You said it right.
I did. Anyways, I did.
It's Smokey Bear. It's not officially. It's not Smokey the Bear.
Yes.
But that's been co-opted over the years. Everyone thinks it's Smokey the Bear, when in fact Roxanne is 100% right. Not only is she Fire Marshal Roxanne, but she also knows how to say Smokey Bear and not Smokey the Bear.
Yeah.
All right, let me call Christina McElwain.
The difference being Tesla fire is hot as the surface of the sun.
Say it like the voice.
I can't do it. The Tesla fire is as hot as the surface of the sun. Is that how you do it?
That's not true.
You know what?
It's not as hot as the surface of the sun.
Jim Carrey ought to come out of the retirement box that he's in and do a Fire Marshal Bill movie. Why was there never a fire?
That would have been a good one.
Why was there never a Fire Marshal Bill movie is what I want to know.
Hilarious and educational.
Let me call Christina McElwain. Again, their house was right next door to one of the Tesla fires. This was the Beach Park fire where the Model S Tesla caught on fire and just burned the entire house down. If you haven't seen the video of me doing the walk around the day after, you got to see this. On my Instagram, Certified MJ Radio, you have to see this video, what this Tesla did to this house. It's unbelievable. Certified MJ Radio on Instagram, Certified MJ Radio. Take a look at the video. It's in my feed. I have multiple videos. And my neighbor's cars floating away out of their driveway and banging into each other in 4 feet of water. I mean, just insanity. Let me call Christina here quickly because she tried to get in yesterday, and her family was also rescued by Gray Bull because they were right next door to this raging house fire, like 10 feet away, and they thought their whole house was going to torch as well, and they were evacuated. And I know that Christina and the family are so grateful, and she wanted to say a few words, and I'm happy to oblige. Let's see, 813. All right, calling. Listen, I walk by their house all the time. I mean, the house that burned down, the McElwains. I mean, that's part of my walk every single day in the neighborhood. Christina.
Hey.
Hey, MJ, Todd here. I'm sure you've seen me walk the neighborhood constantly.
I have.
He's that creepy guy in the weighted vest. Yes.
Weighted vest man.
Yeah. All right, Christina, I know that you're very thankful to Gray Bull Rescue. I know you wanted to say a few things about being next door to this raging house fire.
I mean, I was listening yesterday when they were on, and I words cannot express how grateful we are for them. The whole experience was just beyond surreal, and these guys showed up out of, in my mind, I didn't know that Mike Murphy had called them, seemingly out of nowhere, like total angels, and just took our family, rescued us. And they were so calm. They were so comforting. I mean, they were even kind of funny, like, making jokes, and as much as the situation, could be funny. But it was just, they were absolutely incredible, incredible people.
Tell me about what was going through your mind. I mean, were you able to process that this gorgeous new house right next door to you was just fully enraged and engulfed a massive working fire? Were you able to process here we're in the middle of a hurricane storm surge of unprecedented proportions. Now the house is on fire. Your neighbor, Silvana Murphy, fled with her 18-month-old baby, her 5-year-old child. I mean, were you able to process all that was going on early Friday morning?
No, honestly. I mean, I to be totally honest, I don't think I've processed it completely even still. I mean, initially they showed up on our doorstep, on our porch, escaping the fire, and we felt like it was contained. At least it seemed like it was contained to the garage for a while. And then we had some absolutely heroic neighbors also come out, and they were trying to put it out with hoses. And
you can't do that. I mean, the fire departments, there are stories of it takes 4 or 5 hours and 40,000 gallons of water to put out these Tesla fires or electric vehicle fires.
Exactly. I think they were just trying to do anything they could, and so we thought it was kind of contained, like, oh, maybe, it'll just stay there kind of thing. And then when it just blew, I mean, it was a scene from a movie. I have no experience with
When
fire.
you say it blew, were there physical explosions?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was the only thing that I can compare it to. Like I said, I have no experience with fires. Just watching 9/11 documentaries and how those firefighters would, like, the noises you would hear, like the windows breaking and things smashing and little things, like things falling and mini explosions of things going on inside the house, that are just popping, and the noise it was insane. And then the smell, obviously there's the smell of smoke, but there was another smell that I don't even know what it was, material or something.
Like an acrid chemical odor?
Yeah, I could say
that was the Tesla
probably.
Battery. Yeah, all that smoke and
the
emissions.
lithium cells.
All that smoke and things that you're not used to smelling in a fire. It's that big battery burning.
It's crazy. And then the way the wind was blowing because of the hurricane, it was all blowing towards our house.
Yeah,
what it felt like. And
well, it was because depending on which way the winds were shifting with the bands that were still coming through, unbelievable. So I'm trying to just grasp all this. So next door neighbor's house is on fire. All the smells, the explosions, the popping noises. The storm surge, water like we've never seen since 1921. And now you also have to worry about your family, your husband, your kids, and you have to worry now, will your house 10 feet away burn to the ground as well?
Exactly. I mean, my heart was broken for them. I don't think I ever thought of the possibility that, oh my gosh, it could get us next. And my husband, Mike, he's a pretty calm guy. He's not an overreactor. He doesn't panic, and he's always optimistic. And when he told me, okay, you need to go grab a bag and wake the kids up and tell them to grab a bag, I knew, like, oh my gosh, this is bad. And that was probably one of the worst things I've ever had to do in my entire life, was wake my kids up out of a dead sleep and tell them to pack a bag that we need to get out.
I mean, and just try to figure out what to grab, some clothes, but also, was it going through your head what mementos or what important things should I grab in case we come back? And you were prepared because the Gray Bull Rescue folks, Brian Stern and his buddy Mike, who were part of the rescue, they told you that they've seen this before. Be prepared. Once they evacuated you guys out of the neighborhood to high ground, in the kayaks and the floaties and the boat, the inflatable raft that they had, once they evacuated the Murphy family whose house blew up and you guys right next door, they told you to be prepared to come back and have nothing standing at your house as well.
Oh yeah, I had kind of resigned to the fact that we were done. I mean, everyone told us there's no chance that. And yeah, I think.
What was it like when you were able to get back? Well, you were evacuated about 3 a.m.
Right.
What time were you able to get back to your house? And I can't even imagine the apprehension, the tension as you were approaching the neighborhood, getting, up off of Treasure onto Spanish Main, off of Azeel, and getting back. I mean, what was it like, the walk to the house and then to see it standing? Describe that to me.
It was absolutely miraculous. I mean, when we got to the hotel, because that's another thing these guys did for us. Like, my sister-in-law lives around the corner, but it was so flooded. We were trying to get there, and they're like, "We can't get you there." So they just were like, "We're going to take you to hotels." They called all these hotels. We were in such shock. They did all that for us, which is another thing you don't even think of in those moments.
Wow.
And when we got back to the hotel, Mike was like, "Oh, check the cameras," and miraculously everything was still lit up. And I'm looking outside and I'm like, I don't see active fire anywhere, around our house.
So you were checking your security cameras remotely on an app.
Yes.
Wow.
And then we have amazing neighbors that were texting us saying so far, but they kept saying, fire department's not here yet, but so far, your house is still good, but it was like fire department's not here yet, but so there was still that chance that something could happen. So then when we actually got to get back here, it was just the most miraculous feeling in the world. And then it's also a little, bittersweet because here we are so thankful. We are so grateful and, praising God. And then you look around and, the poor Murphys, it's just nothing. And then so many neighbors around that just lost everything from the floodwaters. So
right.
It's a really.
Did you guys get any water in your house?
No, thank goodness.
Just the garage, probably, right?
Do the garage, yes.
Right.
We're built up pretty high.
Yep.
It's a newer build,
Yep.
so it came up to like our second step maybe, but nothing in the house, thankfully. And I mean, I've never been so happy to do cleanup, after this.
In our neighborhood, we have so many homes that are at grade, the older homes, which are built right on essentially ground level. And the flooding in our neighborhood is unbelievable. All along West Shore, South Tampa, and, of course, all the other areas around. Christina, thanks for coming on and telling your story. I'm glad your home is safe. I'm glad that your family's safe. And, of course, your husband's been my kid's dentist since they were 2,
I love it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. And, folks, you can go to, if you want to help Gray Bull, this is a nonprofit organization. They do rescues all over the world. Mike and Brian Stern, the founder, after they were on our show yesterday, they were here from about 8 o'clock to about 8:40 here in studio. They were headed to Lebanon to extract Americans that are trapped in Lebanon right now. Literally. 5 hours after our show, they were getting on airplanes to get to Lebanon.
It's like the last place in the world I want to go.
From South Tampa rescue to Lebanon to rescue Americans caught in the trouble between Hezbollah and Israel right now. I mean, just absolutely amazing.
They're pretty badass.
Yeah,
I mean, it's about as
absolutely.
badass as you can get.
7:19 at the MJ Morning Show. So I have an issue with my vehicle. We'll talk about that next. Dennis Phillips, ABC Action News, is going to join us next. We'll call him. What's this other system out there brewing? People are concerned. Let's get the real deal. We'll do that next here on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. Stand by. If you're in a car wreck, and listen, folks, just because we've had some turmoil in the Tampa Bay area doesn't mean that you need to drive like a maniac. Stop it. You know, we talked about this, that for some reason, like when there's like an emergency or there are warnings and evacuations, that sometimes something happens and people start driving like maniacs. Stop it. We have enough of the awful drivers when we don't have a storm or an emergency situation. If you're in need of legal help, if you're in an accident and somebody was just completely negligent, you've been hurt, it's the Kemp Law Group. Accident or fall, you call Kemp Law. You don't pay a dime until they recover for you. Someone else acting like a complete imbecile that damages your property, hurts you, you got your back all frigged up, you got vertebrae fused. I mean, you've lost time at work. I mean, you deserve to recover. Accident or fall, you call Kemp Law and tell them that MJ sent you. You've heard me talk about the Holland Group Retirement Wealth Advisors for a long time. One of the things that they deal with is preparation for unexpected events. When you have the right investment plan and the right retirement plan, you have to plan for unforeseen circumstances. You got to have rainy day fund money. You have to be prepared for black swan events. You know, this would be sort of a black swan event for the Tampa Bay area. The Hollands put these plans together so you are prepared, so you're not caught off guard financially. If you don't have a financial plan, if you don't have a retirement plan, It is 7:25 at the MJ Morning. Oh, make that 7:26 at the MJ Morning Show. Dennis Phillips will join us in just a few minutes. Right around 7:30, I'm going to call Dennis. He drops his daughter off at school on Tuesdays, so he's available early for us. Chief Meteorologist Dennis Phillips. What is this other activity brewing in the same area where Helene came from? We'll talk to Dennis in just a matter of minutes. Froggy will join us at 7:47. Where the hell's Fester? Have you seen Fester? Because Fester was supposed to get a hold of Froggy.
I think that's what he's doing right now. He's calling him, making sure he's out.
Has Froggy confirmed? Is he awake?
Oh, yeah. Great news.
What's that?
He's awake.
All right, so Froggy will join us because I was worried he was going to sleep right through it.
No. He even took a shower.
A shower to call in?
That's what I heard.
All
That
right.
wakes you up.
Well, they're out of their house right now. They're staying with
Froggy's parents.
because their house in Town and Country got flooded out. So we're going to get the story from Froggy in just a bit here on the MJ Morning Show. We have teamed up with the American Red Cross. So Beasley Media Group, our parent company, and our radio stations. One of the best ways to help a lot of people is American Red Cross. Now, there are a lot of good organizations out there, but be careful of scams. When you have natural disasters, you've got some total low-life turd heads that come out of the woodwork, and they try to rip people off. Again, be careful of the contractor scams. There are just so many things we need to be aware of. And charitable scams during times of natural disaster are another big issue. The American Red Cross has the resources to help a lot of people. If you would like to make a donation for hurricane relief, it's easy. You can text the word Helene, just Helene, Helene, Hurricane Helene, just Helene. Text Helene, Helene, to 90999. So 90999, text the word Helene, and you can make a $10 gift. That's all they're asking. If you want to give more, give more. But it's set up for default to just deliver a $10 gift to the American Red Cross. So please make a donation. That is a way to help a lot of people quickly. There are a lot of people in need. So we'll give you other additional information, and I've got a pile of other ways you can help as well. But the American Red Cross is very organized to help a lot of people during a disaster like this. All right, before I call Dennis, my car, again, I don't want anyone to shed a tear for me.
What about start a GoFundMe?
No GoFundMe for MJ?
Listen, Michelle and I, we spent Friday, Saturday, and Sunday cleaning, like 10, 12 hours each day cleaning. I lost 8 pounds. I literally lost 8 pounds, and I can feel it because, first of all, I would get up. I didn't eat until dinner time.
Yeah, you just start working.
Yeah, just start working,
mode.
and obviously I was going through buckets of water, drinking a lot of water. So, we were cleaning, no water inside our house because we're built up high. We had about 18 inches of water in our garage, and our BMW, our X5, was in the furthest garage bay, closest to the house, and the water came up. It came up to the door sill level. No water got into the car. The car absolutely bone dry. The door seals did their job. Friday morning, the car started up just fine. And as I pulled it out of the garage, some water came out of the tailpipe. And, of course, that's Tampa Bay seawater, so it is salt water. It came out of the exhaust. Now, looking at the watermark, it was only about a quarter of the way up the exhaust.
Enough to pour in, though.
Yeah, so it went in, absolutely went in. Car ran fine on Friday. Car ran fine all day Saturday. Car ran fine when because I'm running errands and I'm getting things, for cleanup and coming right back. Sunday, car fine. When I got to the studio here on Monday, I drove in, everything fine. Again, full power. I was driving the car. I was punching the accelerator, feeling the power to make sure the engine was working right. And, no electrical issues at all. Everything fine. yesterday morning when I was leaving the station after the MJ Morning Show yesterday, I start the car and a message popped up, drivetrain error or something, drivetrain. And it said car will not restart. All right. So the car's running. It say car will not restart. See,
So you're running,
I'm running.
but it's not going to start again.
And a message says car will not restart. And of course, I'm a little kid. If there's a red button, I'm going to push it.
So you shut the car off.
And actually, there is a red button in my car to start. And if there's a sign that says don't push this button, I'm going to be the first one to push the button. So the car said car will not restart. I'm like, well, I got to test this. So I shut the car off.
Did you at least make it home?
Hang on a minute. So I shut the car off and I push the button and the car starts up fine. So
Hold on a second.
the car did restart and I drove home. The car's fine, but I have a message that says drivetrain malfunction. I think it said drivetrain malfunction, car will not restart. The car restarts every single time. I drove home, the car was fine. Full power, no issues, just this message. So I called BMW Tampa over off of Fowler, and they said, bring it right in. I'm one of the lucky ones. As of 12 noon yesterday, they had over 60 flooded BMWs, and almost all of them were towed in, not drivable. I was one of the few that were able to drive my BMW to BMW Tampa.
Are they going to be able to fix these cars?
Well,
these towed-in, flooded cars?
Some maybe, and some will be just total losses. So my car, I was able to drive it in. It drove fine to the dealership. But again, I was one of the few able to drive in. So I'm undergoing diagnostics. They'll get back to me. Hopefully it's just a sensor and it's just something easy. I don't think my car is total. I think the car is going to be okay. So, and I want to thank Lorenzo. This is pretty cool. So, BMW Tampa obviously slammed. They usually have loaner cars.
Yeah,
but,
they have a bunch of courtesy vehicles.
Yeah, but
they're out.
Not that many.
Yeah, right. Not 65 of them.
And so I didn't even expect it. So I did not even expect a service loaner or whatever. It didn't even cross my mind. I had already arranged my rental car. I booked a rental car at Hertz at the airport. I've got a buddy that works at Hertz, our buddy there. And so I called him. I said, listen, I need a rental car. He said, no problem. Come on down. So nicely, BMW, I was going to order an Uber. So I was on my app to order an Uber or a Lyft, whichever one was cheaper.
They got you a ride to the airport?
Hang on a minute. Hang on. Don't jump ahead here. So I was getting ready to punch up Uber or a Lyft to get from BMW Tampa to the airport to the rental car garage and drive off with a Hertz. While I'm being driven, and this is nice, BMW Tampa had their courtesy driver. Instead of me taking the Uber or Lyft, they're like, what are you doing? I said, I'm ordering a Lyft. They said, no, we'll have someone take you to the airport. It's very nice of them at BMW Tampa. So they gave me a Lyft, and I thought I was going to pick up a Hertz rent-a-car at the airport, and Lorenzo, the general manager and the managing partner of Veterans Ford, calls me and said, hey, MJ, how you doing? I'm like, yeah. I said,
give you a little chit-chat call at 2 in the afternoon?
He's like, hey,
Hey, man, what's going on?
Well,
hey, what you doing, pal? It's 2 in the afternoon.
Well,
I'm calling you out of the blue.
No, we had him on the air earlier that day.
Hey, by the way, thanks for having me on the air today.
Just a little follow-up.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
he's just calling you at 2 in the afternoon?
People have phone calls
there's
still.
More to this. What are you doing over here? What are you?
I mean, it's just the timing of you driving to the airport to get a rental car, and this guy knowing to give you a call in this finite amount of space to where you actually needed a car.
Yes.
It's amazing.
That's what happened.
It's amazing.
So we had Lorenzo on from Veterans Ford, and the unbelievable thing, and folks, if you haven't heard this yet, Veterans Ford heard from Ford Corporate. Anyone with a flood damaged or destroyed car, you can get Ford employee pricing. Ford will sell you a new vehicle for less than the dealer pays for the car. If you can prove flood or damaged or destroyed car because of the hurricane, you can go to Veterans Ford, Linebaugh, and the Veterans Expressway, tell them that MJ sent you, and you can pick out a new Ford and get it for A-plan pricing. A-plan. The A-plan are Ford like factory workers. You can get a Ford right now from Veterans Ford for less than the dealership actually pays Ford for the car. That's how dramatic the discount is. So thanks to Lorenzo, he said, don't go to Hertz. I'll give you an F-150 to drive. So I told the courtesy driver, okay, take me to Veterans Ford. And I've got an F-150 outside now, thanks to Lorenzo. And he gave me a Platinum Edition. It's brand new. It's gorgeous. So thanks to BMW Tampa for the help with the service, the lift, and thank you to Lorenzo for the F-150 to drive while my X5 is getting diagnosed. All right, so let me call Dennis Phillips right now from ABC Action News. Dennis should have just dropped his daughter off because a lot of people are panicking. We know, I don't want to mention any names, but we know some people that have hit us up. Oh, my God, there's another storm out there. It's in the same area where Helene started.
Mention names.
Yeah. I'm not going to call anyone out particular. 727. Calling up Dennis Phillips on his cell right now. He should have just dropped his daughter off in the last couple of minutes. Oh, what a couple of days it's been. But nothing like what some people are suffering here in the Tampa Bay area. It's unbelievable.
Good morning.
Good morning. Dennis Phillips, ABC Action News, chief meteorologist. Dennis, I know you've heard it. I know you've been getting pounded. I've had numerous friends of ours, panicking. Oh, my God, there's another system. It's starting right in the same area as Helene. Let's first of all, let's deal with this low pressure that's swirling in the basic area off of Central America where Helene did form.
Yeah, the models keep coming in weaker. Hurricane Center went from 50 down to 40. Would not be surprised if they actually go down to 30 soon.
Yeah, let's explain. So originally 50% chance of development. Now it's down to 40. Go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, and all that means is over the next 7 days, the forecast chance of 40% of development. It's actually, last I checked, it was 2 a.m. It was 10% in the next 48 hours and 40% in the next 7 days. Models continue to come in weaker. I mean, I think what's going to happen, I think there's just going to be this broad area of low pressure meandering in the Gulf for about a week and just kind of hanging out there. And I don't think at this point very few models actually develop it into anything significant, and it just kind of just hangs out there. Now, it might be, a decent rainmaker for part of the state, like this weekend or early next week, but as an organized system, at least right now, the models are kind of hinting against it.
All right, so your belief is that this is not Helene Part 2?
Not even close.
Gotcha.
I mean, anybody who comes out there and says, oh, well, it might do – I mean, look, anything in the world might happen, but there's nothing reliable. There's going to be – first of all, the water's been churned up a good bit by Helene, so automatically it's a little cooler.
Yep.
You've got shear. You've got a front that's going to come down and kind of stir things up. So right now – it just looks like kind of a nuisance hanging out there without a huge impact. Now, we don't want rain. I mean, obviously, I think a lot of folks, that's the last thing we want is to have to deal with some rain with cleaning up and everyone dealing with the aftermath. But at this point, another organized system like not even close to Helene, I would be really shocked if it's even much more than a low to mid-end tropical storm.
I mean, like you say, anything might happen. Listen, I can say that later on monkeys are going to fly out of my butt. It might happen, but is it going to happen? Probably not.
I don't know. I'll look at your ass all afternoon waiting.
Monkeys might fly out of my butt, but they probably won't. All right, so Dennis, we'll keep our eyes on that. Then the other systems in the Atlantic, really no major threat?
No threat at all. I mean, they're all going to curve away from the U.S., so I mean, after we get rid of what this is, hopefully we'll have some downtime. I do think it's going to stay active, though, right through October, and for that matter, even into mid-November. I don't think we're done with the Caribbean yet. That doesn't mean we're going to see a hurricane in Florida. I just think the setup is such that we're going to be looking at more development out there through probably early to mid-November. I just do. I think that's the way it plays out this year.
Let's deal with a little after action now because we had you on Friday morning. Obviously, I was on really late. I was a solo act because I still can't believe I was able to get to the studio on Friday morning with all the bridges closed. And, again, thanks to TPD for getting me across the closed Howard Franklin Bridge to be able to broadcast to all the people with no power, and I'm very grateful. And I had to get to the studio. I had to do this job, which I've done during these storms for 30 years. So let's do a little after action now, Dennis. What is running through your mind as we're in cleanup phase now? The event that occurred with Helene, the storm surge, we have not seen this for 103 years. It's been since 1921. Are we out of the woods for another 100 years? I mean, I know that you can't,
Man, I have a tough enough time getting 7-day forecasts. Now you're asking for a 100-year forecast.
No, what I'm saying is it's wishful thinking that this was our once in a century brush. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, anytime you start talking about long range weather forecasts and you bring up the words it's getting warmer, there's more flooding, whatever, you're always going to get pushback from 50% of the people out there. I mean, that's just the reality of what things are. But what I will say is, regardless of why or how it's happening, there's no doubt that we are getting more water on the coast in the last 10 years than we've seen for people who've lived here 50, 60 years with smaller storms. Ada is a perfect example. I mean, that storm caught so many folks by surprise that we had a weak tropical storm and look up all the flooding. This storm was over 100 miles offshore, and we still got that kind of flooding. So imagine what it would be like if it was a lot closer. So I don't know. I mean, again, I don't really get into long-range forecasting. You know me at the beginning of hurricane season. I ridicule the long-range hurricane forecast because I think they're always wrong or usually wrong. But I do think for whatever reason, the storms have been flooding our area and the state of Florida more than they did in the previous 30, 40, 50 years. And yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the norm now for whatever reason is happening.
Dennis, I have to ask you, as far as, I got to tell you, this is kind of embarrassing, but you kept talking about the storm surge. And so Doug and I saw, late in the day, the water was starting to rise. And I'm like, he goes, but remember when, the last storm kind of got sucked out. Remember how on Bayshore you saw the water come in and all of a sudden it sucked out during high tide, oddly. I thought that's when it sucked out. But my point is to this question is you just don't know what the tide is going to do. It can do wonky things. You said this is going to be a high tide. This is what's going to happen. But I mean, there are other factors there's so many factors at play. You can't predict the high tide.
Well, the surge, yeah.
The surge.
No,
the surge. I'm sorry.
The tides we know,
yes.
The surge you can't predict.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
you can predict the surge, but also, Dennis, just to pile on to Roxanne's question, and this is one of the issues, is that we were warned about surge countless times over the 30 years that I've been in the Tampa Bay area. We've been warned about surge and all these predictions, and they never came close to what the predictions were, and this time it did.
Well, here's the difference. A lot of times when we've heard about very high surge predictions, it's been from a smaller storm and one where landfall was expected to be right into our area, all right? So you have a storm that missed us in the past. Now, so did this one, but the difference is this one was a much larger storm in terms of size, and I would compare it to Irma. Remember with Irma, which missed us well to the south, it still emptied out Tampa Bay. The bay dried out as that storm came in. So what you're saying is very true, and it's why it's kind of the good news, bad news thing. Why did we not get surge before? Because the storm missed us. And it was a smaller storm, and so that smaller storm was unable to push the kind of water. So those forecasts before were of landfall very close to us in a small storm. So when that storm missed us and it's smaller, you're not going to get the surge. It was a bad forecast. This one, the storm, I mean, honestly, let's be honest, that NHC forecast with Helene was probably the best forecast I have ever seen of any hurricane in my entire life.
That's unbelievable. The accuracy, Dennis, was unprecedented. The fact that they locked that in, and it really stayed the same for, what, 7, 8 days?
Yeah, and you can argue even longer than that. The models, 11, 12 days before the storm even formed, the models were.
So what is it new computer software? Is it AI? What, are they using something different than last season?
No, I just think everything actually worked out the way it's supposed to in terms of the forecast, which is rare. I mean, weather's chaotic, and a lot of times there's lots of changes. And this time, there were two major features, a high to the east and a low to the west, and it was exactly where it was supposed to be, and it never moved. So it's rare. We all know, weather is not the most accurate thing sometimes, especially in Florida. But in this particular case, it absolutely was. But, getting back to your question, again, a smaller storm missing us, you're going to miss out on most of that tide. If that storm's in the path that hit us directly, we would have had that surge. But in this particular case, we had a big, big storm that did exactly what it was supposed to do. And when that happened, we got it. And that's, unfortunately, that's the way it played out.
The flooding in so many parts, my frame of reference is South Tampa, Beach Park along West Shore. We're going to have Froggy on in just a few minutes. Froggy from the MJ Morning Show, his home had a couple of feet of water in it. He's in Town and Country in Baycrest, and the Bay crested inside his home. So we're going to talk to Froggy in just a matter of minutes. But, Dennis, I made some observations, with the homes that were flooded. And in my neighborhood, and this is like this in a lot of areas, you have the newer homes that were built up high because of requirements with the FEMA flood elevations. But we have so many areas and so many homes that were older, 1950s, 1960s, early 70s builds that are built on grade, that weren't built up. And you wonder why. We had hurricanes. Why did they allow these homes to be built at ground level? And you look, Dennis, I know there's a lot I'm piling on here, and then I'll turn you loose. But what I've seen with the homes in my neighborhood, the ones that were flooded with 2-3 feet of water inside, first you see the furniture come out and the mattresses and all of their belongings, drying out or destroyed and sitting out at the curbside. And now I'm starting to see all the drywall come out of the house where you're supposed to cut. And I've got the formula. FEMA's got a formula, but you got to cut significantly above the wet spot because the water wicks up the gypsum in drywall. So I'll give you some of those details later on. But, Dennis, it's just the progression of the furniture, the belongings, and now all the drywall, wood flooring being ripped out and tossed at the curb, and carpets being rolled out onto the curb. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and, the water, when you look at aerial shots of a lot of areas before people emptied the stuff from their house and put it out on the street, we didn't look like we had that much damage because everything was on the inside compared to North Carolina, where entire little towns are gone. We all know how horrific it's been in our area, and yet I'm seeing, and everybody's seeing, the videos out of North Carolina where literally, the entire town has just been washed away. And it was two totally different things. That was totally rainwater. Ours was totally surge. Rainwater was nothing for this storm for us. Most people got a couple inches of rain, 2-3 inches of rain, because it moved through so fast. It moved through in a 12-hour stretch. So we had Debbie last month, whenever it was, that brought all that flooding, and that was purely rain and no surge. And this was all surge and no rain.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's devastating to see this stuff and to know that this is going to be going on for a long time. And I guess you know MJ and guys. It's just you try to make it day by day. And yesterday was probably the worst. All right. You think about maybe over the weekend, but yesterday we're seeing everything, and then you hope every day. I don't know. This is going to take months.
It's a nightmare. Yeah. And, people are just still in shock and realizing that their homes were just turned upside down. It is heartbreaking. My heart pours out. Dennis, thank you for all of your access, your availability. The audience loves to hear from you. You're comforting. You're informative. And we appreciate you guys as a broadcast partner at ABC Action News.
Well, hopefully the next time we talk, we're talking about my Christmas decorations and nothing else.
Yeah,
so,
let's do it.
We'll see how it goes. But, thoughts to everybody. And, Yeah, we just got to hang in there, and I know a lot of people who listen to y'all on the radio, and I get a lot of response from folks. Oh, I heard you on MJ. Oh, I heard you talking to Roxanne. I heard you talking to all the folks, and they love y'all too, and you're giving them comfort and taking their mind off of things for at least a little bit, and sometimes that's the best thing we can do. So thanks for what y'all do as well.
Oh,
Thank you, Dennis. Dennis Phillips, ABC Action News chief meteorologist, and we'll talk to you soon, Dennis. Thank you.
All right, see you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow.
I'm going to sound like a complete dolt saying this.
Yep.
But honestly, like part of my brain would compute what Dennis was saying all last week about the surge. It would compute. And then there's this other part of my brain that would go, and what is this surge you speak of? Because I didn't really, you can't comprehend it until you live it.
Yeah.
And now I know. Now I know.
Because it's so out of the ordinary, you can't process
Yes.
The disaster aspect actually verifying and coming to fruition.
Right.
Because it's so outside of the lines in which we live on a daily basis.
Well put.
All right, let me call Froggy. Froggy, they were hit at their house.
Where is Froggy? Can you guess? In the John with IBS.
In typical times, yes. Froggy's not in the John with IBS. Froggy, I believe, is at his parents' house because they had their house flooded in Town and Country. Let me call Froggy. All right. Yeah, Michelle, we collected a whole bunch of boxes from our attic for Kim and Froggy, and Michelle's going to go over there.
This is Dennis Phillips. I just wanted to take the opportunity again to say I really appreciate what you guys do.
Well, thank you, Dennis Froggy.
And that was a big old thank you fest, wasn't it?
I mean, really, I love you guys, and you keep us happy and healthy.
Now,
we
Dennis,
miss you, Froggy.
Dennis,
we miss you.
do you wear the suspenders while you're driving?
Yeah, only on my wiener.
Oh,
I
yes,
always put 'em on my
Yes, I missed that word.
All right. I'm sure we can have.
First of all, MJ, let me say this.
Yes.
Let me start by saying thank you so much. This has been a rough week, and this is such a great time to announce that I'm coming back on the show. Thank you to the management. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Ron. This is the perfect time to announce I'm coming back. Let's do it. Are you ready?
I am.
Yes.
Froggy, I am working toward that. In fact, I'm.
Wait, what? What do you talk? This is. I thought this was the announcement.
We're having you on to talk about your storm damage. Look, it's regular Froggy. Look at this. Froggy, I'm about to make a demand. I'm about to, if they don't
It's
take
about time. Let's do it.
Well, listen, I did everything to try to keep you intact. The issue is that the radio broadcast business is in terrible condition. All the companies were laying off people. When they cut Froggy, I flipped out, and essentially, I'm getting close to saying you got to bring Froggy back, or you can kiss over $1.5 million in business goodbye. So
you make that stand, I'll stand with you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
Froggy,
won't
we
that
miss
make you
you.
feel
We
bad
miss
when that falls
Hal.
through?
We miss Al
Hold on.
Pacino. We
Wait.
miss, of course, Tony Danza. I never realized how attached I was to Tony Danza. So,
Yeah, he died in the flood.
oh no, that's sad.
What do you have?
Poor Tony.
Did he drive a Tesla or something?
So how you guys doing, huh? How's the show?
all right, Froggy, let's talk about your house. All kidding aside, let's talk about your house. What's going on? How bad was your house hit? You're in Baycrest, Town and Country. You're not far from Memorial in Hillsborough. What happened?
Yeah, we got flooded. About 2 foot and a half, 2 feet of water, and the bottom floor of our house is destroyed. And so is our whole neighborhood. The whole neighborhood got it. You drive through, and it's like a war zone. Really, it's weird.
We drove through Baycrest Sunday, and I mean, it was shocking. And we didn't go back as far as your house is, but what amazed me is along Memorial, all those houses, they don't even back up to the water. They're hundreds of yards from the water, from the canal.
No, yeah, everybody got it. Everybody's stuff is in their front yard. So it's really sad. It sucks. It's stressful.
In your neighborhood, and I know your neighborhood fairly well, BJ lived right around the corner, so I was there many times over the years. The old MJ and BJ days. BJ lived right around the corner from you. I'm trying to remember. Most of the houses are 1960s and 70s builds. Are there any in your neighborhood that are built up, or really almost every house is close to grade and got whacked?
Well, our house was built in the '60s, so we got it. There's a couple houses in our neighborhood that have been built in the last couple of years, and they were built up really high, and I don't think they got it as bad. But a lot of the houses in the whole neighborhood are old, so that's why I think so many of us got screwed. So,
what was destroyed in your house? So you had 2 feet of water in the house. The appliance, is everything toast?
yeah, everything, all the appliances. We have to cut off all the. They have some measurement from the water line to where you're supposed to cut up above it for the mold or whatever.
I've got that right here. So I have the initial restoration for flooded buildings guide. This is from FEMA. This is from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, which FEMA is part of. And the tear out, I'm looking at a guide here. 1 is air out, 2 is move out, number 3 is tear out. And on the drywall, if drywall or plaster has been saturated by contaminated floodwater, it should be removed. Respiratory protection should be worn when removing drywall, as some older drywall joint compound contains asbestos. If the water level was less than 2.5 feet, the wall material should be removed to a height of 4 feet to facilitate reinstallation of full sheets of drywall. If the water level was greater than 2.5 feet, the wall material should be removed to a height of 8 feet, or the ceiling junction, whichever is higher.
Okay, these guidelines are important, Froggy, but I was talking to a builder yesterday, and one thing you have to be careful of, especially if your house is older and especially with it being 2-story, I mean, yes, follow those guidelines, but make sure you're working with a builder or remediator that knows they're not going to mess up the structure of your house by doing certain things. Yeah, in other words, maybe get 2 opinions just to be safe.
Well, taking drywall off the wall is not going to mess up the structure of the house.
A support wall, there's no support drywall, but you have to know what you're doing and where you're doing it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but you're not taking out studs. I mean, you're just taking the drywall off, support beams or load-bearing walls. You're not ripping any of that stuff out. But really, the drywall's got to come out. This was salt water with who knows what's in this water, and obviously it just has to come out. So, Froggy, you already have a restoration company that's already begun for you guys, correct?
Yes, sir, we do, yeah. And the smell, I can't even tell you. Oh, and I found a redfish in my pool. How awesome is that?
Was it alive?
Redfish.
Was it alive?
Yeah, it was swimming around in my pool. So I guess it. So I'm planning on keeping him. And then I found a 100-gallon fishing aquarium that floated into my yard.
Hold on, 100-gallon glass aquarium in your yard?
Yes. A glass aquarium with the LED lights and a little SpongeBob boat inside of
So
it.
that's a score, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna sell it.
Yeah. I'll tell you, at our house, and again, we're on Tampa Bay as well. Froggy is further north on some of the canals up in Town and Country and Baycrest. We're just south of the Howard Franklin Bridge, and we're right on Tampa Bay as well. And when we were cleaning up the yard, just the so-called little yard treasures, Michelle and Chloe, they found like trinkets and some kind of an artisan wooden box with ceramic inlay was in our yard. We have in the mangroves behind my house, we have a full 6-foot-tall curio cabinet, which, those like
oh, nice.
Yeah, almost like Chloe thought it was a grandfather clock. Chloe said, "Dad, there's a grandfather clock in our backyard." And I went over, and kind of the shape-wise, it's like a grandfather clock, tall and thin, but it was a curio cabinet. But where did this come from? Who lost a curio cabinet? Where did it come? I found a Ring doorbell in my yard. Where did this Ring doorbell come from?
Crazy.
Dude, I got the biggest score of all. I got a brand new floating dock.
Oh, jeez.
Somebody's dock broke off, and it matches my dock perfectly. And I hope they don't hear this because I don't want to give it back to them. But man, I got like a 15-foot floating dock that was leaning up against my dock, and I'm like, this is mine now.
Yeah, keepers, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean, let me get something positive out of it.
now I hear you're in the car because I hear your car going doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo.
Yes, sir.
This is Tuesday morning. I believe that aren't you supposed to take Hal Herman to his rehab appointment this morning?
You know what? He's in the back seat. Hang on, Hal. You want to talk to him?
I'm not talking to those assholes. They should I still hate them.
All right. I don't think he wants to.
He's not in the mood. He's not in the mood.
Hang on a second. Hal, are you sure?
No, take me to my appointment. I hate these guys. I used to live for that show, and now I got nothing.
All right. He's not happy. I should probably go.
Hey.
That's right. Now try me, you son of a bitch.
All right. Well, hey,
What is this? Some Miss Daisy taking me to the Piggly Wiggly?
all right, Froggy, could you ask Hal if he can you put him on? Can you just see if he'll come on the phone?
God damn it! Hang on a second.
All right,
Hal, you want to? I don't want to talk. Get my phone away from me. What is it? What is it?
Hal, any chance we can do a Hal Herman headlines at some point?
Absolutely. Anytime, just let me know.
All right, listen, Froggy, all kidding
All
aside.
right, I got to go. I need a drink.
All right, Hal,
Say Hal
Froggy,
goodbye.
all kidding aside, listen, we love you. The situation here as far as work goes completely
I
sucks.
can't hear you over the crappy music.
Shut this crappy music off.
All right.
Shut the music off.
I shut the music off.
Listen, we love you.
Right.
We the three of us miss you dearly.
Hell.
We all feel you got.
And by the way, here, hang on. Hey, Froggy wants to say something.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, all right, go ahead.
Uh-huh.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
In closing, I just want to thank you guys. I want to thank Andrew, first of all, for reaching out about the house. I want to thank Fester, of course, for
Yes.
reaching out and
Yes.
offering to bring us dinner.
and the
Roxanne.
other service I offered.
Yes, and Roxanne, of course, offered so much help. And that's about it.
Froggy, I was in my attic pulling out boxes for you guys. Michelle's coming over to help Kim pack things up later today.
Oh, okay.
So thank you to Michelle also.
I just want to say thank you guys, and I love you, and I miss you,
Miss you.
and I'm going to go back to sleep.
Okay, we love you too, and love to Kim and the boys. And I did tell them to come over anytime if they.
All right, Froggy, here's the deal. Froggy, the deal is I'm going to demand that you return by January 1st, or else I'm walking out.
So how am I going to feel when that fails?
Yeah, well,
then we're both out of work.
And I think by return January 1st, he knows my contract's up then. So he's like,
Yeah.
Roxanne, you go, and
how do
Froggy
you
comes
feel
back.
about that? Yeah, you better take a seat and think about it, Ronnie D.
Yeah. I want to see the morning show that comes after us.
listen,
Yeah.
it's going to be the Roxanne More Music Morning Show.
There
And it's
you
going to
go.
be kick-ass.
Hey,
I heard
it's-
Chadwick Christie's contract's coming up.
Hey, it's Roxanne with 12 songs in a row this hour.
Hey, Froggy,
Hey.
Froggy, my contract expired yesterday, and they had no idea. They're like, what?
Oh, Jesus.
They're like, huh?
Good luck
What?
with that.
Yeah,
I came in yesterday saying, MJ, they're going to fire me Froggy style. they haven't said a word to me. They're going to just call me in at 10 o'clock and say, hey, listen, we're going to do to you what we did to Froggy.
You know what I think?
What?
I think you have a future in shelving installation, my friend.
If I only knew somebody in the
All right.
industry.
Froggy, you're back. You're back in here in studio by January 1st, or else I'm done. I'm leaving.
Hey, from your lips to God's ears,
Yeah,
eh?
right.
All right. Hi, buddy.
We love you.
All right, goodbye.
All right. Thanks, Froggy. All right. Froggy phoning in from, it sounded like his car with Hal Herman splayed out on the back seat.
Listen.
Did he call us a-hole?
Yeah, he did.
Did Froggy?
That's okay.
No.
No, Hal
I'm sorry,
did.
Hal.
Hal did call.
Right.
And you know what? And Hal,
He's angry. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Hal's not wrong. We are.
We didn't even have like a going away party for him. or,
Roxanne's not, but MJ and I, we're both a-holes.
All right, 8:05 at the MJ Morning Show. Very nice. Oh, the Cash Kitty. Last thing on my mind, but all right,
The Cash Kitty, yes.
All right.
How did we forget? Did
This-
we do Cash Kitty yesterday?
Yeah. All right, here we go. We still have 10 more minutes. Yeah. So the Cash Kitty, you've got till 8:15.
Okay, got plenty
so
of time.
We're in the window here. This hour's word for the Cash Kitty is winner. That's WINNER. This hour's word is winner. Text the word winner to 45911. That's our nationwide number. Text the word winner nationwide 45911 before quarter after a shot at $1,000 cash. Or you can enter it on the Q105 app or at myQ105.com. Easy as that. All right, couple of things that I wanted to get to, which we did not. Did you, Andrew, can you grab the story of this happened in the midst, or the story came out in the midst of all the turmoil. The woman that grabbed the cop's crotch? Did you see the story?
What?
Yeah,
Was she being arrested?
Yeah,
or was it
well,
like a dare?
Yeah, there's a traffic. It was a traffic stop. Andrew, can you grab that story for me and rush that in here? No, it's just got a couple of things that I wanted to get to, and I want to start getting back to normal, and I realize that a lot of people out there, it's going to be a long time, but I think you need a certain degree of relief and comic relief here on the MJ Morning Show. We're also going to do everything we can to help. We're teaming up with the American Red Cross again. If you'd like to just donate a quick $10, this is easy. Just lots of people donating $10. Beasley, our company, has teamed up with the American Red Cross. You can text the word Helene to 90999 and make a quick $10 gift. It's very, very easy. Text the word Helene, Helene, to 90999. And the American Red Cross is obviously a big organization, and they are set up to help in mass disasters. So please help the American Red Cross. They certainly have the resources to help a lot of people, and a lot of people need help right now. I will go down some of the recovery issues that you need to know about, how to get help, who to ask for help. I will get to that coming up a little bit later on here on the MJ Morning Show. I mentioned this creepy, creepy story. This, and again, we've seen some similar things in the Tampa Bay area, but this is a new one here. A guy who was previously cited for hiding under women's vehicles to stare at their feet did it again.
That's illegal?
Okay, yeah.
What's illegal about that?
What? Crawling under somebody's car to look at their feet as they get in?
Would you want to be under their car or the car next to it?
Listen to me.
Because if they start their car, you're kind of really in a jam.
Or drive away. I mean, I don't know how this guy did not get run over. I mean, if there is any individual that deserves to be run over, it's this voyeur cretin creep that is looking at women's feet from ground level.
I'm still not sure what law he broke.
Yeah, come on.
What law?
All right. So this guy was previously cited, and now apparently he did it again.
Man.
In Gilbert, Arizona. Jesse Michael Johnson, 28, is charged with voyeurism, so there you go, and disorderly conduct, according to Phoenix Fox television station. In separate incidents, 3 women were vacuuming their SUVs at a Superstar car wash location. In these 3 incidents, defendant pulled into the parking spot next to the victim. While the victim was vacuuming her vehicle, defendant hid under their SUV and spent several minutes under the vehicle. The defendant climbed out from under the vehicle when each victim was finished vacuuming and left the area. So
I'd like to see him make that move to get out from under the car before they drive away, like that rollout.
But apparently his cue was when they stop vacuuming, when the
vacuum shuts off, you have like 90 seconds to get out of there. All right, time to go.
Exactly. So you get out quickly because they still have to put the nozzle back up, and then you'll hear the car door open, so you got enough time to crawl out from under the vehicle before you get your head squashed by their rear tire.
Yeah, and then you just go, "Oh, I was just checking your transmission." If they catch you,
listen. Depending on the layout of the car wash, you know where the vacuum holder is, so you know what side they're going to be walking on. I mean, hell, you can see their feet. You know where they're going. You just roll out the other side. This is actually a really good voyeurism scam.
All right, Fessa, don't offer any assistance
I'm
here.
not offering assistance. I'm just saying if you're a voyeur into looking at feet, this is on the better end of the ones I've heard.
Surveillance footage caught a man in the act. Cops said that it is Johnson. They arrested him again last week. They held him on $10,000 bond. At one point, you can see his head pop up out of the driver's side. Hang on, I'm choking over here. Hold on. Talk for a second.
I mean, if you're this guy, MJ, if
He
you
looks like a normal guy, doesn't he? I mean, you can't judge a book by its cover, but
No,
I wouldn't
I'm looking at his
call him
mugshot. No, he does. He looks like Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, he does. It's a good.
He
yes,
looks like
does.
he looks like you know what? I think it's Baker Mayfield.
Listen, he doesn't give you the creep foot voyeur vibe.
No.
Why
love it.
can't this guy just get a job like at Payless Shoe Source?
Hold on a second. What number does his jersey say? Number 6?
Yeah, Mayfield's number 6.
Yeah, I think. Look at he's wearing a number 6 jersey.
Look at that.
No,
No, but listen. To look at him, you wouldn't think foot voyeur, or you know how you see people who get arrested, you're like, okay, that guy just has a creepy mugshot.
Yeah.
This isn't that guy, but why can't he get a job working at like a Foot Locker or something?
At one point, you can see his head pop out from driver's side, looking up at me. Said one woman, "I never thought in a million years that there would be someone underneath my car looking at my feet." Oh my! I mean, what kind of a sicko foot fetish do you have to go to a car wash, crawl under women's SUVs? Obviously, he's not crawling under a Chevy Spark or a
I mean, yeah, think about the
or
planning.
a Toyota Camry.
MJ.
He's getting under these, that looks like, is that a Ford
Expedition?
That's an Expedition.
That's the big one.
Yes. So one of the cars is an Expedition that he climbed under.
MJ, think about this. Think about the planning involved. You have to find the right size vehicle.
Oh my God, I love feet. I love feet. I love women's feet so much. I'm gonna go to a car wash. I'm gonna army crawl underneath the car, and I just want to look at her feet as she walks around the car. Oh yeah. I mean, my God.
You have to find the right size vehicle. Watch this. The vacuum gets shut off. She closes the door. Boom, he rolls out.
Then he rolls out.
And he's parked right next door, and he starts to tend to the tire.
Looks like he has a Camry, actually.
He might. It looks like a Corolla or something.
Yeah, maybe it's a Toyota Corolla.
But MJ, listen, so many variables. One, it has to be a size vehicle you can maneuver under. 2, it has to be a female driver. 3, it has to be a female. You're really rolling the dice if you're just looking at rando feet.
Man, he would have a field day with all those hot South Tampa women in the G-Wagons, you know?
I mean,
a lot of space under those cars.
He would.
Yeah, he could camp out. He could have a picnic under there, looking at women's feet.
It's those talons he has to worry about.
What a sicko. Yeah, surveillance shows he goes back to his vehicle like he was cleaning his own tires. All the victims had flip-flops and shorts on.
Yeah, that's what you wear when you go to wash the car. If you're gonna,
I think he looks for women with flip-flops so he can see all the toes and the nails.
There is so much.
I wonder if he noted like manicures and pedicures or pedis.
Heels.
Yeah.
Make sure the heels are soft.
Wow.
There's got to be a high failure rate in this because not everybody has good-looking feet, even if they are wearing flip-flops.
Oh my God! Listen to this. Back in June of 2016, here we are. This is 2024. So back in 2016, this guy Johnson was 20 years old, and he did this in Nebraska. So he's moved from Nebraska. That's a hell of a way to go through life, son. 20 years old, and he's doing this at Nebraska businesses.
Well, think about it. Nebraska has a heavy winter. Like 6-8 months out of the year, you really can't enjoy the feet.
So now he's in Arizona, but listen to this. In 2016, authorities in Nebraska cited him for hiding under a woman's car and touched her feet. This was reportedly the 4th time that he was cited for this. Johnson reportedly admitted at the time that he was sexually attracted to women's feet.
He's a repeat feet finder.
Oh, God. And he asserted that he could not control his desires. Well, obviously not.
Feet finagler.
Can't he get a job like in Jiffy Lube, working like in the pit, and just have his buddy call the customer out, and ma'am, we're gonna have to change the air filter, and he's just like right there, and he's getting paid. He's actually doing a service,
so he can do a regular job and appear like he's not a creep and still get his foot fetish in.
Be a man. He could be this guy.
Dude, what are you crazy? No,
this guy could.
I'm not gonna facilitate.
No, I'm just
I'm
thinking.
not gonna be a facilitator.
Well, couldn't he satisfy that thing without A, earning a paycheck, B, not breaking any laws?
Like going from heroin to methadone.
I don't know about all that.
Then we have the crotch grab. This is a local item. A suspected drunk driving woman crashed into the barrier wall on I-4 here in Tampa, and then grabbed an FHP trooper's junk, grabbed his crotch, and then bit his leg.
Oh.
Wow, she got
Well,
really
I'm glad he didn't bite the junk.
She's gotten tased.
I'll tell you what, 5:15 in the morning, 25-year-old Tishera Williams of Largo.
Tishera?
And Largo, man, Largo's the star. Tishera Williams, 25, no way to go through life. 5:15 in the morning, traveling westbound on I-4, approaching 275. Lost control, smashed into a barrier wall. So right near Malfunction Junction, she smashes into the barrier wall. According to FHP, Tishera was impaired.
No.
And during the arrest, she resisted. She had to be physically restrained, according to the FHP report. And as the troopers tried to restrain her, Williams grabbed a Florida Highway Patrol trooper's genitals and bit his leg as well.
I mean, she has to get off I mean, usually you say turn around before you get handcuffed.
Yeah, charged with resisting arrest and violence. I'm sorry, the actual charge, resisting arrest with violence.
Have they released the body cam?
And
footage?
DUI. I've not seen anything on that yet, but that would be... Well, also, why wasn't she charged with battery on a law enforcement officer? You know, hopefully the Hillsborough County State Attorney's Office will up the charges on this, because right now charged with resisting arrest with violence, but I would imagine that battery on a law enforcement officer is an easy charge here as well. You know, I'm going to authorize that upgrade right now.
Okay.
Yes, Andrew.
The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office website says battery on a law enforcement officer.
Okay, there you go.
On her arrest report?
So maybe that was added later because the initial report just said resisting arrest with violence. All right. I mean, easily. It's an easy charge. So Andrew, our producer, has just confirmed. Hey, Fester.
Yes.
So you sent me the story, and of course I saw this. I had the breaking news. Pete Rose.
Dude.
Is dead.
Man.
Yeah, he is.
Pete Rose, 83 years old. Of course, he was kicked out of baseball because of that big gambling scandal back in, what was that, late 80s, early 90s?
Yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah, I remember. I got a Pete Rose story to tell. Fester first, though.
Dude, first of all, Pete Rose he got done wrong his entire... he gambled. He acknowledged it. He got shafted by Major League Baseball. No way, no two ways about that. And rest in peace, Pete. I got to meet Pete Rose because back in the day, MJ, the Reds used to spring train in Plant City. So Pete Rose was around town, especially, in March and, late February, and was the manager of the team. And I met him at Derby Lane because my father and Pete were both degenerate gamblers.
Oh, wait a second.
That's awesome.
Wait a minute. Your father was a degenerate gambler?
My father loved Derby Lane. He when Derby Lane was in its prime, he loved it. That was his thing. And Pete Rose was there all the time. And we were in the lounge, and Dad would bring me and try to show me how to size up the dogs and how to handicap them.
Your dad was teaching you to bet on the dogs when you were 8 years old?
8, 9. I should have paid better attention. Betting the Quinellas and the Win Place shows and all that stuff, right?
Quinella Win Place show.
And
did they ever have a bet? Will the dog actually stop and drop a load on the?
It's so funny you say that because they would walk the dogs out. They would walk them from the kennel across the entire crowd, and you could watch the dog walk like 150 yards. And the secret was to bet on the one that pooped.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. 'Cause they're not there.
He's going. He's going to be extra fast.
So
bet the house.
All right, so your dad takes you to meet Pete Rose at Derby Lane, right up the street
Yeah,
here.
right here.
My dad took me to Derby Lane to gamble. Pete Rose just happened to be there. It wasn't like meet Pete Rose night at Derby Lane.
Did your dad ever crack open your piggy bank for one last bet?
Listen, we got no gas money. We got to root for number 7 like we've never rooted before.
All right, Fester, little Dom, give me your piggy bank.
Listen.
Were you little Dom back then?
I don't think I was ever that little, but so I'm out there and I'm on against the glass looking at the thing, and I was a baseball fan. Of course, you know who Pete Rose is.
Yeah.
And I kind of catch him out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, I'm like 10 years old. I'm like, that's Pete Rose. And I'm kind of staring at him. And I've never really stared at people before like this, but I'm kind of like gawking in awe. And Pete Rose is looking at his booklet and looking at the program, and he's circling what he wants. And he looks over at me, and he looks back at his book. He looks back over at me. He goes, "Hey, what the hell are you looking at, kid?" And I'm like, "Ugh." And then he cracks his smile, and he said, "We talked for a minute." But Pete Rose was such a cool guy. For a 10-year-old, he spent a little time with me. I've always loved him, and I've always felt baseball did him dirty. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. It's a shame that he died and didn't get to live to see it.
My quick story is very, very quick. When was he thrown out of baseball? Was it like 1990?
Let me find the exact year.
Let's see. He managed a team from 86 to 89 when he was banned from baseball for gambling on the sport.
August of 89 it went down.
There we go. So here's the deal. And he was banned from baseball. I was working at Pirate Radio in Los Angeles, KQLZ Los Angeles, Pirate Radio. And I was working with Elliot. Folks might know Elliot Siegel. He does a morning show up in Washington, D.C. And we were both, I was production, a creative director on the morning show. He was like a morning show producer. And on CNN, every day at like noon or 1 o'clock, they had some talk show on CNN. This is 1989 or 1990. And we would call into the talk show. Listen to this. And they would have all kinds of guests on, nothing to do with Pete Rose, nothing to do with baseball. We were able to get through like 10 times within like a 2-week period. It was amazing. We were able to call in and say we were, Jerry from Calumet City, Illinois, or Freddie from Spokane. So we were calling in, and we'd have like what's your question for our guest? And it might be an author, a book on, I don't know, dog training. So we called in. I'm telling you, we got in like 24, a ridiculous amount of times over like a couple of week period. And we would start off with, yes, hi, what a fascinating guest. And got a question for your guest. What do you think of the Pete Rose situation? So, and man, the first time it was like, we're not talking about that hang up. Second time they hung up on, but we got through, I'm telling you, we got through like a jillion times. So you could see the host of the show, and it was a blonde woman. I'm trying to remember. I could probably look back. It was like a famous CNN host of that time back in the 1980s, and they were just she would get so, there he is again, and she was like getting all bent out of shape on the air. We were like fooling them every time, and that was our gig. Just everything, whatever the guest was. It would be, and what do you think about the Pete Rose situation? And so that's my Pete Rose story, and CNN circa 1989, 1990. So Pete Rose, Mr. Baseball, wasn't that his nickname?
Charlie Hustle.
Oh, I'm sorry, Charlie.
Mr. Baseball.
Who's Mr. Baseball?
One of the other guys.
All right,
Derek Jeter.
All right. So yeah, Charlie Hustle, dead at the age of 83. Hey, this is interesting to me. Because you know what? There was a time in my career where I was never terrified, but there was a higher level of anxiety, and that's been long gone for me. 8:24 at the MJ Morning Show here on Q105, 104.7 FM. There was a time where I felt a little anxiety on Sundays, and it was greater than any day of the week. But I never was like disabled or, oh, my God, I'm terrified. Oh, my God. There was an item that I saw, Roxanne saw this as well, because you also included this in your prep pile. Average person spends their Sundays terrified of the week ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny that you heard Dennis Phillips say a few minutes ago, when he said Monday was the worst after the hurricane. And I was thinking to myself, Monday was the worst because Monday you kind of get thrown back in your jail. but it's also a return to normalcy.
Are you calling
right?
working with us your jail?
Of course I am.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
I mean, what else is this?
The same.
I'm sorry. It's
We do have handcuffs.
keep those in the office. All right. But I get it, but I don't feel terrified. There are moments I am like, the alarm's going to go off early. But the terrified, that's the point you're making, MJ, right? That's what they said.
All right, let me...
Bob Uecker.
What?
Bob Uecker was Mr. Baseball.
All right, whatever. Thank you.
Right.
And Mr. Coffee was...
Joe DiMaggio.
That's correct.
That's right, yes.
Yeah. My grandmother had a Mr. Coffee. I remember back in like the 1970s, late 70s.
Right.
They had to recall a jillion Mr. Coffees because they were catching on fire. And they were burning people's houses down. Like that was the Tesla of the 1970s. was Mr. Coffee. And I remember as a kid, there was a funny back in the early days of like Saturday Night Live, maybe like 1977. I'm like 11 years old, right? And SNL had come on, I think, a couple of years earlier. And I just remember there was a funny deal on Saturday Night Live where they did a story and Mr. Coffee announced a recall of 500,000 units because of a fire hazard. And they would also like to get you to buy Mr. Fire Extinguisher. I thought that joke stuck with me. I still find that funny today. But Mr. Coffee. All right, back to Terrified Sundays. So there was a time with my morning show career where there was not as much on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but on Sundays, getting ready to start the new week, there was a little bit of
an anxiety.
It wasn't debilitating. It wasn't like I needed to get tranquilized or pop a pill.
Oh, is it almost like a pre-grumpy performance anxiety? Because I've had that throughout my career, where if I've had like a big thing I have to do.
Say it again. What is it called?
Pre-grumpy
performance attitude or something like that. If I had like a big game I was doing or something coming up, and all of a sudden I would get grumpy right before. But then you turn all that energy into performance.
Isn't it called something? Have we thought? It's like the Sunday Scaries or something.
Yeah, that's what.
It's the same kind of
same
idea
concept.
that the daunting feeling of knowing that this time tomorrow you're going to be in the throes of your work week.
Yeah, and you just have to be on, and that applies to anyone, not just people in our industry, of course. Like you have to be on. You have to answer to people. You have demands. Whereas weekends, you just chill.
Yeah.
So I never had any kind of like I was cowering in the corner, but
Michelle had to pull you out.
But I guess it probably ended a long time ago. But it was always on Sundays that I would feel, oh man, I got to get the whole week planned here, and the weekend's coming to an end. I gotta. But those times for me, those ended a long time ago. But I did have a little bit of that feeling, but I never was terrified. The story is a survey of 2,000 adults. This is from the study finds, folks. 2,000 adults surveyed found that this feeling is defined as the Sunday scaries.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about it on the show, that the fact that it exists.
We have, but there's a little more here. New poll finds that the average American experiences the Sunday scaries 36 times a year. So that's 36 Sundays out of 52 Sundays.
It's an awful lot.
It's a high percentage of Sunday scaries.
I'm gonna have to start logging my Sunday scaries. See what I
don't get any. I don't get any Sunday scaries.
I mean, other than acknowledging that tomorrow I have to go to work, I don't freak out about it.
So the survey of 2,000 adults found that this feeling is defined as anxiety, 32%, dread, 17% dread over what to expect the following week. Typically, this panic about the work week sets in about. They even have a time. The peak is 3:54 p.m. on Sunday.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
That's where the Sunday scaries kick into gear.
You know what? That's exactly right. After the first round of football games, I think, oh, crap,
Yes.
I got to go to work tomorrow.
Yes.
Ugh.
You know what a way to beat the Sunday scaries is?
Be drunk all day.
Bingo. Power your way through.
I don't know how I associate.
I thought you were going to say.
To get blitzed.
I thought you were going to say shoot of heroin between your toes.
Listen, or that. Listen,
You know?
A, to each his own. B, we don't judge. So whatevs, them.
Should we go to
You
this?
do you.
Should we go to the? Should we go to this terrified Sunday scary phones?
Yeah.
You know
It's
what?
good. Now that it's Tuesday, we're in a safe zone. Because
right.
Tuesday's the day I really do start to feel better. Like, okay, I can do this.
We could use a little relief here. Back to some of the storm coverage and aftermath in a bit. Do you get the Sunday scaries? Come on, fire up the phones. Well, we can take some phone calls about something a little different here. All right, 800-990-1047. Do you get the Sunday scaries? Come on, is anyone terrified of Sundays? That, oh my God, the new week's about to begin. I'm terrified. I'm scared. Does anyone get this? All right, fire up the phones. Let's go. We're able to take some different types of phone calls here. And again, just a little bit of relief. I think everyone needs a little relief from, what's been going on. So let's talk about terrified people on Sundays. All right, 800-990-1047. That gets you in right here, right now. Do you get the anxiety? Do you get the Sunday scaries? Are you debilitated? I mean, are you really affected? Are you out of whack? Do you agree with 3:54 p.m. on Sunday? Look at this. Every line's ringing. That's nice to see. 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. That's how you get in. Let me start with Jeanette in Lakeland. Jeanette, hi, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Welcome.
Hey, love you guys. Before I started my new job, I used to work for a newspaper here in Lakeland, and my Sunday scaries
Would that be the Lakeland Ledger?
Yep, probably.
Okay.
and my Sunday scaries would begin on Friday after work.
Oh, no.
And they would just get increasingly worse.
So wait a minute. You worked all week, and the weekend is here, and then your weekend sucks because you're terrified?
Yes. My husband was like, what in the world?
Yeah.
And I would just be, like, mortified come Sunday. And
Jeanette, are you still in the newspaper business, or are you doing something else these days?
heck no. I changed my whole career up. I'm now working at a lawyer's office as a legal assistant and loving my life. I never get Sunday scaries anymore. Zero stress compared to what it was before.
Well,
good.
Well, thank you, Jeanette. I appreciate it. And of course, the media business is rough these days, especially print newspapers. You know.
Heck yes.
Hey, does the Lakeland Ledger do they print every day?
I honestly don't know anymore.
I mean, because the Tampa Bay Times, they print twice a week in a market of over 3 million people. And we've got a newspaper printed only on Wednesday and Sunday. It's insane. Jeanette, thank you for listening.
Yep. You have a great day.
You too. How about Omar in Tampa? Hi, Omar. You're on the MJ Morning Show.
What's up, MJ? So for Sunday scaries, I think for parents, it's even worse. Like our Sunday technically has to stop like at 3 because then we have to prepare for like all week. So
Great
for
point.
like kids, yeah, you've got laundry and kids' school and to make sure
Lunches.
they have their homework done.
Yeah.
Like, so you just can't go all in on your Sunday. You know, my wife always is like, we got to get home by 5 because we've got laundry to do. And then you've got, then school. And then after, kids in soccer and all sorts of programs.
Well, that's kind of like life and being a parent and, all those.
But it's the anxiety of the week.
I get
and
it.
it kicks in on Sunday because you're like, oh my gosh, little Johnny, did you do your homework? I told you to work on that project on Friday. Now it's Sunday night. We have to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And next thing you know, you're being hauled off for child abuse and everything.
Mom, stop hitting me, Mom. Mom, put the hanger away.
I had a question about the Cash Kitty. How do you know if you win? Do you get a text message, a call? How do you know?
We're going to call you.
They will call you. If you win the $1,000 with the Cash Kitty, they will call you.
Okay, beautiful.
Yep. All right, Omar, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Deborah in St. Pete. Deborah, how'd you fare first in the hurricane storm surge?
Oh, hi, MJ. I love your show. Thanks for asking. I only lost power for a couple of days, so it wasn't bad. Ended up at my sister's swimming for a couple of days, so that was awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Deborah, what about the Sunday scaries for you? Is this a thing?
It is like definitely a thing. I have a little bit of anxiety as it is. So on Sunday, just like the other gentleman said, right after the first football game, I go, oh, crap, I got to get ready for work. I start getting my clothes. I start making sure, and I got a dog, so I start making sure he's all set. People are there to pick him up. But I do. I get like, and then I get up Monday morning and go, I'm just going to call him sick every Monday. And I like my job, but it's just not enough days off for me. So some days are scary. I think, oh, Lord, I just got to do this and this and this. But I will tell you, I like my job, so it's not that. It's just the fact of my weekend is over. You didn't give me enough time. I had to do 6,000 errands. And, now my dog is sick and has to go to the vet. So Sundays are never fun for me, except for the football. I'm a Giants fan. They're not winning. So other than that, Sundays are my football day. But he's right. After the first game, you're like, oh, I got to start getting ready.
Yeah, if you're a Giants fan, don't let it turn into Suicide Sunday. Hey, thank you for calling, Deborah.
And Deborah makes a great point because she's like, they just don't give us enough time off because, I'm going to be off this Friday. And Monday was like, okay, I can do this. 4 weeks seems less daunting.
All right. Thank you. Have a beautiful day, Deborah. Thanks for listening.
My pleasure. Thanks for being there, guys. Bye-bye.
Least we can do. Wendy in St. Pete. Hi, Wendy. Did you do okay in the storm? Wendy, are you there? St. Pete. Oh, wait a second. I picked up the wrong line. I got all these lines flashing. Here we go. Wendy in St. Pete. Hi, Wendy. Sorry, I had
Hi, good morning.
I hit the wrong button. I'm an amateur at this. So, Wendy, what happened at your place? You okay in St. Pete?
Yeah, I'm good. We're in North St. Pete near Carillon, so kind of near all the businesses, Franklin, Templeton, and all that. So.
Yeah, but listen, Feather Sound, a lot of the parking lots got flooded.
That's true. That's true. And we honestly came pretty close. If it gets any higher next time, we're going to be in trouble.
Well, I hope that's our once in 100-year brush. Wendy, do you get the Sunday scaries?
So, not really, but my husband gets the Sunday scaries on Friday.
Ooh, see, we had a previous caller said the same thing. That's got to suck. Your whole weekend is mowed over.
It's awful. Like, I'm ready to enjoy the weekend, and he's like, I got to go back to work on Monday. I'm like, are you kidding me?
What does your husband do?
He's a solutions architect. He's like real heavy into the back end of IT software stuff. So he's very analytical, very much a problem solver. So I think part of his issue is that since he is a problem solver, he can't really turn it off. So he can let loose and enjoy the weekend from time to time, but a lot of times his brain is just still working.
Thank you very much for the call. I appreciate you checking in with us.
Thank you.
Chris is in Philly. Chris, you're on the MJ Morning Show calling from the city of brotherly slugs. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm so glad that you're talking about this topic because for many years I thought it was just me. I would call it Sunday depression. That's when I was married. That's what my spouse used to say. Like, I would just give up the entire day.
Wow.
I was devastated to go back to work. I mean, I'm not kidding when I say people drink on Sundays. Or I think you did a story once that the worst people who go out are on Sundays to go to bars. I would agree with that because I'm probably that person. I've gotten completely smashed on Sundays before, just dreading going back to work. Sometimes it worked out because I would have to call out sick being hungover. But it's definitely a thing. Sunday depression, I think, is a better term for it. It sucks. I hate Sundays still.
Well, I hope you can work out of it. Chris in Philly, thank you for listening to us all the way up there. Andrew, I'm just going to clear out Tony, Trey, Gloria, Alex, every line. The minute I hang up on someone, it's ringing again. Let me finish up those calls, and I got to move on. You saw what happened at the Hard Rock, right?
Oh, yeah, that was scary.
I mean, and we were just there.
Really?
We were at the Hard Rock just, hours earlier. I'll look at the timeline, and I'll explain. Oh, boy, don't look at me. All right, hang on a minute. We'll get to that in a moment. Tony in Riverview. Tony, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi, Tony.
Hey, good morning, MJ. Good morning, crew. My Sunday series was years ago. I was a stay-at-home dad, and on the weekends, my parents would be around, my ex-wife would be around, and, pretty much the kids would do their thing, Then come Sunday, I'd get nervous because during the week it's just going to be me with the 3 kids. And even though I had done it for like forever, I'm like, oh my God, what if they want to, what if they need something to eat, or if I have to change a diaper or something?
Yeah.
And it was stuff I would just do on a daily basis. But I was like, it was the weirdest thing. I'd get like nervous for like a few minutes, knowing that for the rest of the week I was going to be alone with these kids. And it was something I would do all the time. It made absolutely no sense. And I laugh about it today.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate the call. Thanks for listening. And again, for the survey of 2,000 people, many of whom are terrified on Sundays that the typical panic sets in at around 3:54 p.m. on Sundays.
Yeah. I mean, that's when you start getting into afternoon, deep afternoon.
And you start to feel, oh, man, the weekend's over. And
Yep.
it's
downhill from here.
PJ in Tampa. PJ, MJ Morning Show. Go ahead.
Yeah, I pretty much, I had it ever since high school, and I still have a feeling of impending doom.
Impending doom.
That's a good way to put it.
Holy, really?
I love that phrase.
And I'm a nurse, and the only time I never felt impending doom is when I worked Sunday. That was when I really...
Yeah,
Haven't
because
you-
you stayed in the where you were captive.
PJ, haven't you survived enough Mondays to know that it's not going to be doom?
It's not going to be the end of the world. It's not Armageddon.
No, it's funny, because a lot of times I wouldn't even have to work Monday. Because if I worked Sunday, well, I didn't have the doom. But if I have 4 days off, right? So I work 3/12s. So, but it was something about Sunday. I don't know. Even in high school, it's like I just couldn't put my finger on it. It was just like something, and it's interesting because Sunday is supposed to be the day of rest, right? We're supposed to, the day of rest, and it was anything but.
What hospital do you work at?
St. Joe's in Tampa.
Wow, thank you very much. I appreciate you calling in.
Yep, bye-bye.
All right, let me grab Trey, Gloria, Alex. That's it. We got to move on to the Seminole Hard Rock deal and what happened over there. Trey in South Tampa. Trey, how did you do in South Tampa during the storm?
Good morning, man. Good morning. Sundays for me is...
Hold on, Trey. First, though, before we get to the scaries, you're in South Tampa. How did you do with the storm?
Actually, I wasn't in South Tampa during the storm. My daughter had a brain tumor removed. I was in St. Pete.
Oh, my God. And how's your daughter doing?
She's fine now. I was in Johns Hopkins Hospital.
How old's your daughter?
She's 13 years old.
Oh, my God. Was it a benign tumor?
It was in the front of her head. It was the size of a quarter.
Was it benign?
I don't know what that means.
Was it cancerous or non-cancerous?
Oh, no, non-cancerous.
All right.
Oh, thank God.
Wow. Wow. Trey.
And we was locked. They locked us in the hospital. We could not go out because I smoked cigars. Could not smoke a cigar. Could not get out. I was walking around the hospital so much they thought I worked there.
Oh my God! And Tony, your daughter, 13, with a brain, she's okay. She's going to recover.
Yeah, she's fine. She's fine. She's at home right now, recovering.
Oh my God, that is amazing! And this was all during the.
Yep. I was looking out the window through the whole hurricane. I was looking out the window because she was in ICU, and I was just sitting there, me and my wife.
Oh my!
And my wife was just looking out the window. My wife, she was just looking out the window too.
Trey, where in South Tampa are you?
I live right here by the Air Force Base. I live on Inner Bay.
Oh, okay. And how much water did your neighborhood get?
Oh man. Well, Inner Bay didn't get a lot, but down the street, like if you go to Rogers, Tyson, and all that was flooded.
Oh my!
Like they was underwater.
Wow. And your house had no water in your house?
No, I live in the second floor.
Oh my! Oh wow!
But I drive a Honda Accord. I could not drive my car. My wife has a Navigator, so we had to take her truck to move around because it was just too much. My Honda I would have drowned in the Honda.
Wow.
I bet.
It was that much water.
All right, Trey, I'm glad that you're okay. I'm glad your daughter is okay. What about the Sunday scare? Now let's get back to, are you terrified on Sundays?
Yeah, because of the Bucks, man. I'll be scared that they're going to lose. I hate Sundays. I'll be scared. I'm not even allowed to watch football in my house because I yell at the TV too much.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, my wife would my wife would be like, Trey, you need to go somewhere. And I'm like, all right. Because I got kids, and I be cussing, yelling. And
Oh, man. Have you ever broken a TV? Have you ever broken a TV?
No.
Okay, good. All right. Trey, thanks for calling in, buddy. Stay safe, all right? Thank you, man.
All right. God bless you.
Thank you. That was a good call right there. Man, his daughter, can you imagine? Brain tumor surgery, and she's in ICU during the hurricane rolling in and the storm surge.
God bless her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gloria in Lakeland, then Alex, then we're done. We're going to move on. Gloria, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Good morning.
Go ahead, Gloria.
I was calling about the Sunday scaries. I think it's more like the anticipation and the annoyance that the new week is already intruding. Like, okay, when I ended last week, so-and-so hadn't signed the contract. I got to make sure I check up on that. This person has an appointment for this week. Hopefully they keep it. Nothing gets to cancel. And then, shifts the entire plan around. So you already start planning your week, and your weekend's not over yet. While at the same time, you're like trying to get in your load of laundry between the other people in the house that are doing their loads of laundry. So it kind of just interrupts your day and ends your weekend early.
Yeah, well put. Because everyone has access to us on our phones and email. So it's like it starts to intrude before Monday even arrives.
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, how old are you?
I am 44.
All right, Gloria, hopefully you can work out of it, okay?
All right, thank you.
Shoot for 48. Try to get out of it by 48, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. One more. Alex is in Polk County. Alex, you're on the MJ Morning Show, Q105. Welcome.
Hey, MJ. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
All right. I used to work for a lawn service. Was off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I would have to call in on Monday because I'd be so anxious on what attitude is the guy that I work with going to have.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you have imaginary scenarios in your head, like imaginary conversations in preparation of it, and then that riles you up?
Yeah.
So
you didn't know what.
So you operated the weed whacker, but you had to deal with the weed wacko.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you phoning in.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, it is.
It is a thing. The problem is.
Because we had talked about Sunday scaries in the past, but this is more like people are terrorized on Sunday. Yeah. And then to see the time that it kicks in on average is 3:54 p.m. on a Sunday. Interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. The problem is the weekends are too short. If we had longer weekends, the Sunday scaries would go away.
All right. Now, I never lost power in my neighborhood. I'm in South Tampa. I'm in Beach Park. During the storm, we had some flickers. I'm like, oh, boy, here it goes. Flicker, and then you're waiting for the third time, and it going, and it never happened. So thanks to Tico. However, all of my neighbors have power. One of our neighbors, one of them, a couple of houses down across the street, they had, I guess, a phase issue. So their AC wasn't running right, and they had like half power in their house. So they must have lost a phase or whatever they call that. And Tico is apparently on the street now. And I just looked at our little neighborhood block group text and like, hey, you guys might lose power now because they're trying to work on this. So let me call Michelle, because we didn't lose power. I got 4 feet of water in the front yard. Didn't lose power, and now I might lose power as they. Hang on,
only temporarily though, as they do the repair.
Who the hell knows? I just made not this past weekend, but the weekend before. I made like 2 gallons of ice cream. Oh my God, my dark chocolate is unbelievable. I'm telling you, my ice cream is the best in town.
Hello.
Hey, sweetie, is the power on right now?
As far as I know.
Well, am I playing on the radio bedside?
Yep.
All right, so it is on.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Are you all right?
Yeah. Okay, bye.
It kind of sounds like you've fallen. Hello.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
I'm just.
Do you have a life alert chain around your neck?
Yeah, you probably need to.
You could use one.
You're all right. Were you involved in a very exhausting dream?
I think so.
What were you just dreaming when I woke you up?
I don't know now.
Oh,
when you listen to the radio and then dream, are we in the dream?
Sometimes.
Oh, creepy.
All right, sweetie. All right, so the power is on.
Yeah.
All right. Do me a favor. Text me if they turn the power off. So keep the radio on, and you're listening to me right now. If the radio goes off, or if you want to turn a little light on or something, let me know if they shut the power off, all right?
Will do.
All right. And what time are you heading over to Froggy's house to meet Kim to help them?
Whenever she texts me.
All right. So Michelle's going to go over to Froggy's house, help Kim. We got a ton of boxes that we're going to bring out of the attic and help them move some stuff.
Yeah, she just has to move it out of the downstairs to the upstairs. So 2 work faster than 1.
Copy that. All right, I'll see you in a bit.
And you're going to be pressure washing their garage.
Yeah, Michelle wants me to bring my my Simpson Power Shot 3600.
Not today, but when they're ready.
Man, there's just something satisfying about pressure washing, man.
That's what I told her. I said he loves it.
Oh,
He'll
my
be so
God.
happy to do it.
I tell you know what? I'm gonna blow this popsicle stand. I'm opening up MJ's pressure washing. You know that Pete's pressure washing? Screw Pete. I'm coming after you, Pete. Pete's pressure washing. I'm coming after you, pal. It's gonna be MJ's pressure washing, the king of Tampa Bay.
Bring it on.
All right.
I don't know that you're the most efficient at it, but you definitely do enjoy it. So.
All right. I'll see you in a bit.
Okay, bye.
Bye. The Hard Rock. What degenerate wacko? I don't know if it's a degenerate gambler, but what degenerate wacko hid like makeshift incendiary devices in 2 restrooms? They had to evacuate. All right, here's the deal. This is the Seminole Hard Rock Casino right here in Tampa, and they had to evacuate the place 2 times in a 12-hour span because of these like improvised, suspicious, makeshift elementary type devices, little explosive devices. Yeah, according to the Seminole Tribe Police Department, FBI's also been called in. Guys, if you need me, attention Tampa Field Office, FBI. If you need me to come on in and help, I'm here.
You'd probably have better luck calling the Indian Tribe Police.
I'm an FBI Citizens Academy graduate from 2007. So I am here to help.
Great.
All right. So it was a crude, concealed device with like fireworks attached, fireworks components, according to police. And they were found in the men's bathroom, or first it was found in a men's bathroom a little before midnight. And we were just there on Saturday night. I took the tribe for $250,000 at the craps tables.
They have your face. They have your face printed off in a room.
They do.
No, I'm kidding. We went to Council Oak. It was such a relief, because we were cleaning up all day Friday. We were cleaning up all day Saturday. We had a 7:00 reservation, which was standing for weeks. So friends wanted to get together, so we had a reservation. This is well before Helene.
Well, was that the name of the person?
What?
That's not the Indian name.
What?
Standing for weeks.
Stop. That does sound like a... So I had a standing reservation. Oh, and reservation.
Oh.
I've got a reservation on the reservation.
What do you call an Indian who has second thoughts about going to a restaurant?
I don't know, Fester.
What?
A guy who has a reservation about his reservation.
Oh, there you go.
Reservation.
There you go. So we had a reservation for like a couple of weeks to get together with some friends, and we Council Oak is fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
Council Oak is unbelievable. Their steaks are incredible. So I'm a big, huge Council Oak fan. So I had the res, and we were cleaning up our South Tampa home, the garage and the whole yard, everything. And our situation is minor. We just had, for those that didn't hear, we had about 18 inches of water in the garage, but it's all concrete block. It was an easy clean out. We lost some things, but stuff that really wasn't that important. But we cleaned all day Saturday, or all day Friday, all day Saturday. We had a 7:00 reservation, and we got into the house at 6. We actually shut off the pressure washer, and Michelle put the broom down and the squeegee at like 6 for us to get ready and get there for a 7:00 reservation. And we only arrived like 2 minutes late. We took a lift because we were getting loaded, man. We were getting tanked up. So we took a lift there to there and back.
Good.
And But dinner was phenomenal, and we were there Saturday night. It was just a good relief because we worked all day Saturday, and then Sunday morning, right at it again Sunday morning. And I was still doing additional work yesterday, after I had to take the car to the BMW store for service to get that checked out with the water and everything. So what happened at the Seminole is some joker put these little makeshift rudimentary devices with a fireworks component in some of the men's bathrooms. So
had they clear out the whole gambling floor, all the restaurants?
Yeah. So the first one was found a little before midnight on Sunday. They evacuated part of the casino, and then police said that they deactivated the device, and then the casino reopened around 3 a.m. So they were closed for a little over 3 hours. They had to get everyone out of the damn casino. Unbelievable. Then a second device was found in the mezzanine area in a men's room. So that's what you take the escalator up, and then right on the top of the escalator, there's some restrooms up there. So if you're eating at Council Oak,
a couple of restaurants up there.
Yeah, there's a sushi restaurant up there.
Yeah, sushi restaurant up there.
And so they evacuated again. Another device was found in that mezzanine restroom about noon yesterday, and they evacuated again.
What a pain
So
in the ass.
you got the Seminole police involved.
Do they have their own department?
Yeah, the Seminole tribe has their own accredited Florida police agency, the Seminole Police. Absolutely. So the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, they came in with their bomb squad, and HCSO helping. FBI is now helping to investigate. But who would do this? Why the hell would they do this? Anyway.
Mad at the casino.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not mad at anything. We had a heck of a. Can I say tomahawk? Is that? I think
that's what they call it.
That's
No, I'm sorry. It's the bone-in ribeye.
Oh, they don't call it a tomahawk?
They don't call it the tomahawk steak.
Oh.
It's the bone-in ribeye.
Maybe you shouldn't either.
Let me tell you right now.
Okay.
You got 2 or 3 people. You get the bone-in ribeye 36 ouncer. Oh, it's unbelievable.
I saw what 2 people did to one, you and Andrew.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I'll get one by myself. Tell you to stand back.
Yeah, that was a meat market.
Right. You and Andrew.
That was a good steak too.
Devoured that.
Yeah, we had a good time. That was a Christmas party. All right, 8:57. Oh my God, where did the time go? I'm running just a little bit late here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let me tell you about 2 college brothers moving in storage. I got to be honest, Roxanne, I could listen to this loop all day long.
Listen, you summoned me back into this studio with it. I heard it through the hall, and I was like, I gotta get back in there. I love this song.
9:06 at the MJ Morning Show, and the final hour of the program is with us. You can help by donating to the American Red Cross. Beasley Media, our parent company, and our radio stations are teaming up with the Red Cross to get the word out, to make a donation. You know, the Red Cross, there are a lot of good agencies and a lot of good organizations that are helping. Habitat for Humanity, we had them in here yesterday. The Salvation Army, obviously. American Red Cross, they have an infrastructure to help a lot of people. If you would like to donate for hurricane relief, just text the word Helene, Helene, to 90999. That's 90999. Text the word Helene, and you'll have an option to select a $10 donation. Or if you want to donate more, you can. $10. $10 to the American Red Cross right now will help with relief efforts. I went to Walmart yesterday. I had to get some gas and get a couple of food items. And I was up at the Third World Walmart up at 275 in Dale Mabry. And they were rolling out like pallets of water. And there was a company, and I'm trying to remember the name on the side of the truck. I've seen the name in the past. They were picking up pallets of water. Great value 16-ounce water bottles. Obviously for relief efforts or people that need water. Again, this is an event, folks, that the Tampa Bay area has not seen since 1921. 103 years in the making. And I'm hoping that it's another 103 years before this happens again. Because I won't be here. My kids won't be here. My kids' kids might be here. But it'd be tight.
I don't think any of us will be here. The robots will have taken over by then. Let's face it.
The robots are coming to get us. Did you see they had to move, I guess, manatees out of the Clearwater Aquarium?
You know, it makes sense. I mean, they evacuated everything else.
I know. We had to move Fester out of the studio yesterday.
Yeah, had to carry me out.
Tease you with lettuce to get you to coax you down the hall.
We had to put you in a wet blanket and lift you up with a forklift.
Poles, all these people.
Exactly. They had to bust out an upper 2-story window, and we had to get a forklift. Had to get a lull.
Thankfully, they were rebuilding the studio down the hall. Just knocked it right out.
Yeah.
So a couple of manatees that were being treated at the Clearwater Marine Aquarium.
Where do you take them?
Walmart. No. They took up to Culver's. Get some custard.
That'd be fine.
Yeah. All right. So, you know what else is good? Andy's. Have you had an Andy's? I like Culver's. So I've had like the trifecta of franchise custards now. Culver's. I first experienced Culver's up in Wisconsin years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And love Culver's. Culver's good stuff.
And I'm glad they're here. Their burgers are good there.
Yeah, they are. The Butterburger.
Everything's good.
So Andy's frozen custard on Gulf to Bay, just to the west of 19. That is good. Andy's custard is fantastic. There's one in Clearwater. I think there's one out near like Waimama or something.
I went this and then Bloomingdale, kind of way out there.
They have an Andy's?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
What's that restaurant that we always talk about going to, but we're never
Beef
gonna
and
go?
C.
Okay, so about 4 miles past Beef and
we
C.
got to go to Beef and C.
Yeah, 4 miles past them out in Bloomingdale is an Andy's. I had to stop there a couple of weeks ago. Go out there.
Wasn't that good custard?
And I was like, "There's a custard," and I've never been. It was great.
Yeah. So
But
Culver's
it's just custard.
Yeah.
It's not like custard and burgers.
So
or burgers
Culver's has the good Butterburger. You get custard at Culver's, good stuff. Andy's is custard only, and it's a phenomenal product. And then I was in Virginia Beach a couple of weekends ago with Michelle, and I had the other big franchise chain, and their custard was phenomenal as well.
Is the one that's in Orlando but not here, Freddy's?
Freddy's, yep, you got it.
I've had Freddy's in Jacksonville. I've had it in Orlando.
I thought Freddy's was great as well. All three are good products. And listen, I'm a custard connoisseur, man. I just made vanilla ice cream with 21 freaking egg yolks. All right? 21. 21 yolks, Roxanne. Count them. 21.
What?
Blackjack.
I'm getting people.
I'm going to call them Blackjack vanilla. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
People are sending me texts,
Yeah,
which
what?
is, I think, an abuse of my text line.
About what?
As to, are you ever going to have like a pop-up stand where you can give out samples of this ice cream or something?
You brag so much. We need the people to decide.
Or
we need
just
the
to
people to weigh
sample
in.
it.
Yeah.
Why we have no Freddy's in the Tampa Bay area?
No.
Anyway, where was I? Oh, the
manatees.
How the hell did I get out the custard from manatees?
Because we were talking about where you take the manatees to, and after we made a couple of
I said
very funny fat jokes, we talked about taking them to a custard stand.
The aquarium had over 4 feet of flooding during Helene. They had loss of power. They had a lot of damage to very important equipment at the Clearwater Marine Aquarium. So the manatees, these infirm manatees, Yeti and Zamboni, they were taken to Zoo Tampa on Saturday morning. So they were evacuated. You know what? Speaking of, they could have taken them to Bo's.
Ice cream.
Bo's Ice Cream.
Yes, right next to Zoo Tampa.
Right, exactly.
On
Right up the
slide.
street from Lowry Park Zoo or Zoo Tampa, yeah.
Zoo Tampa has a very impressive manatee enclosure.
Yeah. So they evacuated the manatees from Clearwater Aquarium to Zoo Tampa, and they stopped at Bo's to get some soft serve.
Good.
Bo's a Tampa classic, obviously. I can't drive within. I can't even pass Sly on 275 without getting off and going to Bo's as well.
They have all 4 flavors of the dip, by the way.
Oh, yeah. So you get chocolate,
butterscotch. They have a blue.
the cherry, and
the blue raspberry.
Is that what? Blue raspberry? There you go. What else? Oh, this is insane. 9:12 at the MJ Morning Show. Andrew, you're signaling me for something?
Something going on, Andrew?
Oh, yeah. Andrew wants me to grab a call.
Okay.
Let me grab line 4. I don't know what it is. Hi, good morning, MJ Morning Show.
Hey, MJ, how's it going?
Hi there. Who's this?
My name's Roxy.
Hey, Roxy. Where are you calling? Oh, I see it now. Clearwater Beach. Hi, Roxy.
Hey, so listen, I want to know if you could please help all of the Barrier Island residents because they're going to open up the bridges to the public today at 4.
Yep.
And, we're still really bad, and we don't need any looky-loos. And just please, please, please help people. They really need to stay. If they're coming to help. Bring supplies, bring bags, bring water, and bring stuff. Just don't come look at our stuff. My whole apartment is on the curb. I lost everything. Well, I don't want you to look at that. I don't even want to look at it.
Yeah.
No, this is a great point. So Roxy, Clearwater Beach, again, the barrier islands in Pinellas, the regular traffic, they've been limiting it to residents and employees of businesses that could prove their employment and business owners. Those are the only ones that have been able to access. But at 4 o'clock today, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, they're going to open up the barrier islands in Pinellas. And Roxy, this is a hell of a good point. Looky-loos, stay the hell away. Don't come through and sightsee.
Because the traffic is already so bad. Like, it's already so bad. I go every morning at 6 o'clock, and you still have to wait. It's, like, awful.
Yeah, and that's a great point. If you're going to go, bring supplies, bring helping hands. That's the only thing you need there.
Yeah, come help people and bring cases of water or food. But yeah, don't just drive over and say, "Oh, let's go take a look." Please stay away. It's a very important phone call, Roxy. Thank you for phoning in. Anything else?
Nope, that's it. I just want to tell everybody out there, stay strong because we'll figure this out.
Yeah, we will.
We'll get through it.
Roxy, how long you lived on Clearwater Beach?
9 years.
And are you in a condo, a rental unit? Do you own what type of place?
It's a first floor condo, so we got 5 feet up. Everything just like washed away.
Oh my God! So you've been in there 5 years. Tell me about your insurance. Obviously, you had flood insurance, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you have a mortgage. You have a mortgage on the condo, I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you have federal flood insurance. I just lost Roxy.
Phone just dropped out.
Yeah. All right. So she did say she had flood insurance. Roxy, if you can still hear me, phone back. 800-990-1047. But she already knew that. Yeah, I just wanted to ask, how bad the damage was. Roxy, thank you. All right, so I was about to get to this insane story. Did you see the dog that was hit by the car and the dog was stuck in the grill?
Oh, no. What kind of dog?
And the car and the dog was not hurt at all?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, no, it's a happy
fantastic.
ending.
Okay,
Listen,
good.
I'm not going to talk about some
Jeez.
damn dog dying. I got to come out of these up-tempo records.
That's great.
Yeah.
1%.
Get me down on the phone. I got to talk about these dogs dying and come out of these up-tempo records.
1/10 of 1% of the listeners knows what you're doing right now, but it's great.
Two.
All right.
I love Casey. Casey was a good friend, actually.
So the dog. So how's this a happy story?
Dog found alive after 12 hours stuck in a car grill. The only thing that would have been more interesting if this happened at Pass a Grill.
Yeah, or if the dog had a grill for his front teeth.
Oh, yeah, like a gold grill with diamonds and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is nuts. A dog was found alive 12 hours stuck in a car grill. This is in Port St. Lucie. This is the other side of the state. In PSL, it's where Met Spring Training is, So Port St. Lucie, dog was hit by a car and was lodged in the vehicle's grill for 12 hours, rescued without serious injury. So the incident occurred when a woman was driving at night, said a dog darted in front of her car. Unaware that the dog had become stuck in the grill, she continued driving. It wasn't until the following day that she discovered the dog in the grill, immediately drove to St. Lucie Battery and Tire and Dog Removal. That's a laugh line.
Oh.
It's a laugh line there.
All right. I got to admit, I wasn't listening. I was looking up Casey Kasem and his dog dedication. We'll play that next.
It wasn't until the following day that she discovered the dog and immediately drove to St. Lucie Battery, Tire, and Dog Removal. Where the dog was freed by the auto shop's crew.
I just got a cramp from laughing.
The dog hit the perfect spot, broke through the plastic grill, and was lodged inside behind the fender. I mean, this is unbelievable.
It's a lucky little dog.
The dog had no lasting permanent injuries. Dog's fine, apparently. Unbelievable.
How does that happen?
So, listen, do you think I'm not going to do a dog getting hit by a car story unless it has a happy ending?
Listen, we've done
in the aftermath of this this bitch of a storm, I'm going to do a happy dog story.
We needed an uplifting dog story.
Andrew, what do you have for us? Do you have the Casey Kasem audio? All right, let's go. Hit it. Go ahead.
We're up to our long-distance dedication. And this one is about kids and pets and a situation that we can all understand. It's from a man in Cincinnati, Ohio. And here's what he writes. Dear Casey, this may seem to be a strange dedication request, but I'm quite sincere, and it'll mean a lot if you play it. Recently, there was a death in our family. He was a little dog named Snuggles. See, when you come out of those up-tempo numbers, man, it's impossible to make those transitions, and then you got to go into somebody dying. You know, they do this to me all the time. I don't know what the hell they do it for, but God it, if we can't come out of a slow record, I don't understand it. Is Don on the phone? Okay, I want a concerted effort to come out of a record that isn't a tempo record every time I do a death dedication.
I mean, if someone told me this was a skit, I would believe it. It's
No, that was
so
real.
over the top. It is real.
That was an outtake that some engineer made a copy of that tape, and that's been floating. That's from like the late 70s or something.
Great.
Yeah. Listen, Casey was a friend of mine for years. Casey was just a gentle, kind man. Loved Casey Kasem. Rest in peace. Obviously, some issues with his wife and estate and his kids, and that was a whole to-do. But Casey was really a nice guy. Would call up, just say, hey, how you doing? Whenever he was in town, he would call up, stop by the radio station. So Casey Kasem was certainly a broadcast gem. 9:19 at the MJ Morning Show. Fester, you're looking at me like you want to say or do something.
I don't want to do either.
You sure about that?
All right, here's something really quirky I always remember about Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
What is it?
Him and his wife, Jean, always took separate cross-country flights.
True. Always.
Yeah. Some people were like that.
Because it was like they were both in the studio. Jean, who had guest roles on Cheers and who I knew from TV, and she was wonderful.
Yep.
And Casey were both in the studio. I'm talking to them both. And she's like, Casey, you got to go to the airport. And he's like, oh, you're right, I do. Well, he
didn't sound like that.
He pretty close.
You know, you're right, I do.
Yeah.
We got to go to the airport and catch a flight.
But
Hi, I'm Casey Kasem. Could I get a Sprite with no ice, please? Thank you very much.
But he took like the 11:30 flight, and she took, and they flew commercial.
Yeah.
But he took the 11:30.
They mostly flew commercial, but they would never fly on the same airplane in case the plane crashed, and they didn't want to leave their daughter Liberty parentless. So, you know, if Casey's plane went down, we'd still have Mom. If Mom's plane went down, they'd still have Casey Kasem. Hi. And now it's time for our long-distance dedication.
How do you break that news to the kid?
I'll tell you how we do it. We do it with number 37 on the list as we're counting them down to number 1.
Liberty, Mom's dead. The plane went down over Omaha.
But Dad's still here.
It's awful. 9:21 at the...
How do you do that? I
know.
never understood it.
9:21 at the MJ Morning Show. Have some storm aftermath information when we get back, and then a couple of loose ends. The final chunk of the MJ Morning Show is next here on Q105. As life gets back to normal, folks, life will go on. We will get... Chicago bull bleeper, but
Thanks for playing my two favorite rejoins in the 9 o'clock hour.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I think that's my favorite one of them all.
Yeah.
Oh, you like the Sirius Alan Parsons project? You like this one? You like that? Yeah. That's a good rejoiner. And then the other rejoiner you liked earlier was Gangsta's Paradise? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just brings her back to the clubs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, streamers. Right.
What streamers?
You're doing Jello shots, right?
I never been to streamers. That was before my time.
Oh, it was?
But I referenced another old school bar.
Guys weren't doing Jello shots out of your belly button at streamers on Northdale Maverly?
Never.
Yeah. Are you sure?
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I wish.
Maybe Mako's in Largo, but.
So the dock worker strike, like we really need a massive potential jam up on goods on the East Coast.
Are they on strike right now?
Yeah,
they did.
They went on strike at midnight. Yeah, this is a potential pain in the butt.
I got a question about this. Can someone say you're not allowed to strike?
Yes,
based on the hurricane, but you know what I mean? Like we already have issues, and then to say you're not going to be able to get supplies from delivery, I don't know.
I think doesn't the government control air traffic controllers that they can't strike? Was there an issue with that when Reagan was president or something? But I think if they have a union and a contract, I guess they have a right to strike.
All right, so here's the issue. Andrew just brought me the latest. I think that my New York Times story also from early this morning probably still stands. So there's a big work stoppage at East and Gulf Coast ports. So that includes East Coast, us, and it would halt most activity at some of the busiest ports in the country. And the labor contract expired. Longshoremen on the East and Gulf Coast prepared yesterday to go on strike at midnight, which they did. And this will pretty much shut down all of the busiest U.S. ports here on the East Coast of the United States and up around, the Gulf here.
Great.
And they essentially wanted a 77% pay hike over a number of years. So almost an 80% pay hike.
Okay.
That's a lot of money, 77%. Under the current contract, longshoremen earn a top rate of $39 an hour. And the ILA, the International Longshoremen's Association, has been asking for a $5 an hour raise for each of the 6 years of the new contract, which will put them at $69 an hour in the final year of the contract, which is a 77% increase by the final year. Yeah, with overtime and shift work, a longshoreman's income can exceed $200,000 a year.
Wow.
Roxanne, go get a job as a longshoreman.
Okay.
You'd be
I
popular.
mean, seriously.
You'd be popular AF.
Do I have the skill set? Any transferable skills?
You have everything.
You got it.
Walk
You're like Stacy's mom. You got it going on.
You walk right in there, Rox.
Yeah.
They'll make you
Get
four
those
lady.
boys in line.
They'll make you 4-woman day one.
Right. You'll have container cat calls going on.
Ooh, this is getting exciting.
I got a container.
I mean, if we can somehow work the lineman into this fantasy.
If you could, if you like spending that much time by the water, I don't know. MJ, so my mailman just sent me
Roxanne all dripping wet at the port and everything. Can you imagine that?
My mailman just sent me a text. He said letter carriers cannot strike.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the government has intervened on certain
industries.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on discussing that. Thousands of dock workers, ports from New England to Texas, so all down the East Coast, up around Florida here, Miami, up Tampa Bay, Gulf Coast into Texas, New Orleans, all the way around. So it's half the damn country.
So why are the West Coasters not striking?
They operate under a different contract. Yeah, that's a very good question. The strike was expected to involve 25,000 workers, close to 14 ports or close 14 ports: Baltimore, Boston, Charleston, South Carolina, Jacksonville, Miami, Houston, Mobile, New Orleans, New York, New Jersey, Norfolk, Virginia, Philly, Savannah, Georgia, that's Savannah, Georgia, Tampa, Florida, Wilmington, Delaware.
Sounds like you're singing Heart of Rock and Roll.
Detroit is not on the list.
Cleveland's not on the list.
Yeah, what a pain in the neck. Yeah, so good question about the West Coast ports. They operate on a different contract.
Every port from Houston to Boston, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, and goods, food, supplies. There's a lot of relief efforts that these ports are going to be very important with the damage from Florida up through Georgia, the Carolinas.
They're going to be important.
Nice. Yeah. See, that's why you're going to be 4-person day one. I don't want to call you foreman because it's gender specific.
Yeah. In
It's a new
2000,
career path for me.
In 2002, George W. Bush used the 1947 Taft-Hartley Act to force port operators to reopen West Coast ports. The act allows the president to suspend the shutdown for 80 days, during which efforts could be made to reach a deal. So there is precedent for making them go back to work and try to...
Like Taft, as in like President Taft?
Yeah,
like the big fat one?
Taft-Hartley Act. I would assume it's President Taft. And then Hartley is a wacky sales guy we used to work with over at J-Corp.
The guy who kept falling up.
Yeah, Hartley's a good guy. Yeah. His old house in my neighborhood, he moved out. He sold... Hartley sold his house in the nick of time.
What is it, an aquarium now?
Oh, yeah. That house might have been below grade. It was a very low house over on Sandpiper. Yeah.
Wow.
So he sold his house, I think, a year ago.
Good for him.
Yeah. And I see New York plates over there. I think people from New York bought that. So sorry. I'm so sorry for the new people, in my neighborhood. All right. So the port strike is on. We'll see if the president intervenes in any way whatsoever.
Biden won't invoke Taft-Hartley to stop the port strike.
What?
That's what he said. He's like, President Taft was a fat man, and I refuse to.
In fact, I've got this fat guy bathtub up in the White House because of Taft. Wasn't it Taft?
Yeah.
Did they have to put a
special bathtub in there.
Was it Taft?
Taft, I think so. Taft had cows in the White House lawn so you could get fresh milk every day.
Is that true?
I love fat presidents. We need more fat presidents.
No, but was it Taft that one president could not fit in the bathtub, and they had to put a special extra large bathtub up in the White House.
I mean,
and I think it was Taft.
It sounds like it would be Taft.
Hold on, do a
Taft
search for
bathtub.
Taft bathtub.
Yes, did William Taft
bring that up?
Really get stuck in the bathtub?
Is it a full bath or a half bath or a Taft bath?
Topping the scales at over 350 pounds, William Howard Taft was a true politician heavyweight, although Big Bill was the only man to serve as both U.S. President and Supreme Court Chief Justice.
It's true.
What most remember about Taft is that he supposedly became stuck in the White House bathtub. The story, however, apparently doesn't hold water. No documentary evidence backs it up, and according to Brady Carlson, the author of the book Dead Presidents, An American Adventure into the Strange Deaths and Surprising Afterlives of Our Nation's Leaders, the story doesn't arise until 2 decades after Taft left the presidency. Carlson says that the Sudsy tale, my God, is this filled with puns, the Sudsy tale first surfaced along with other presidential dirt in a longtime White House usher, Ike Hoover's 1935 memoir, 42 Years in the White House. Yeah. The funniest part is that while Taft was president, the White House got a tub that was so big a president couldn't possibly get stuck in it. Oh, that's what he said. So that turned into Taft got stuck in the previous bathtub and had to get a cattle trough.
Speaking of presidents who refused to die.
Right. Oh, Jimmy Carter.
He's today's his birthday.
Jimmy, 100 years old.
What's his secret to good health? Or longevity?
Peanuts. A lot of peanuts.
Jimmy Carter, and he's got like a brain tumor. He's got brain cancer. And Jimmy Carter, 100 years old today. That's unbelievable.
I hope to be dead by 100.
Yeah, he was born, this date in 1924, right?
In Plains, Georgia.
So what, October 1st, 1924. So, today is 100 years.
Wow.
His secret to good health, high interest rates on your mortgages.
Yeah. Jimmy Carter. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jimmy. Happy birthday to you. Have a peanut for us. Have a peanut for us. Your daughter, Miss Amy, is a hot piece of...
Yeah, she's like 82 now.
Amy Carter?
Yeah, he's 100. How old is she? So, President Carter, he's 100 years old. He looks like he died a while ago. He does not look good.
Yeah, whose funeral was he at where they wheeled him in?
I think it was the king, right?
Was
it the queen?
Amy's younger than me. Amy's only 56. Yeah. All right, 9:39 at the MJ Morning Show. Again, please help the American Red Cross here at Beasley Media. We have teamed up with the American Red Cross. It's a big operation, and they have a lot of resources to help a lot of people. So the American Red Cross can use your donations during this time. This relief effort is going to be among the largest ever. And recovery and the insurance loss on this event in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky. The insurance loss, this is going to be the greatest insurance loss in the history of this country. Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
Does this change insurance forever?
Well, we'll see.
How much more can they charge us for insurance?
Guess what? We've already been hosed and screwed in Florida. It's already difficult. What's this going to do now? How many companies will be insolvent? How many insurance companies are going to, go belly up? The major ones, the AAA rated stuff, but man, any of the maybe some of the B+ and some of the lesser, crappy insurance companies. I know there are several companies that couldn't pay out from Ian, from the storm we had a couple of years ago. All right, Andrew wants me to grab some phones here. What time is it? 9:41. All right, I got a couple of minutes here, but please help the American Red Cross. Send the word Helene. So text the word Helene, Helene, to 90999. Text Helene to 90999, and you can make a $10 gift to the American Red Cross. If you want to add more, you can, but the default is like $10. Helene to 90999. Chad is in Lakeland. Hi, Chad. You're on the MJ Morning Show. Welcome.
Good morning, MJ. I had a question about the port shutting down. Will this affect the fuel shipping from like Houston to Tampa? Will this affect our fuel prices, or is that excluded from the strike?
That's a good point. Now, the fuel for Florida here, we get the fuel on these fuel barges and out of Mississippi, out of Houston, wherever, the fuel. I don't know if the ILA, the International Longshoremen, if they handle the docking of, when I think of the longshoremen, I'm thinking of all the container ships. But we need to check that out to see if this is going to mess with any of the fuel shipments coming out of the Gulf ports over to the Port of Tampa.
Yeah, that'd be good to know because that'll affect the economy even worse.
No, you're 100% right. Absolutely correct. Fester, can you check on that? Check on fuel?
Yeah, I'll get my research team on it right
now.
No,
I mean, why don't you Google it?
I said I'll get my research team on it.
Chad, turn
Thank
up,
you, Chad. He understands. Chad, I have a whole team here.
Chad, turn up your radio. We'll try and find it, okay?
Thanks, Chad.
All right, thank you.
All right. No, go to Google. Let's look it up.
There's my research team.
Will the port strike affect fuel shipments?
Hold on, you're going too fast.
Will the port strike affect fuel shipments?
With a P, meant.
Yes. The union has pledged to continue to handling military cargo even during a strike and said passenger ships won't be affected. Oil tankers and ships carrying liquefied natural gas usually go to other facilities that are not affected by the strike.
Yeah, so the port that takes off all the containers is not where the gas goes.
Yeah. So that's why I initially thought that it was, International Longshoremen, and they're handling all the containers that are coming in on the freighters.
See, I told you my research team would get the answer.
Look at that. We had that pretty damn quickly. All right. Anything else before we get out of here today? We had a lot of hurricane stuff, but we had a lot of normal material today. Our thoughts are still with everyone. We're all in this together. We will bounce back. I know that things are very tough for a lot of people right now. People in their cozy living rooms, nestled up with their favorite little blankie and a pillow, watching TV and eating some potato chips 1 minute, and the next minute you got 3-4 feet of water in your house, and everything is ripped out and thrown at the curb. I mean, it's unbelievable. But we will bounce back. Get a hold of your insurance companies. There's a lot of things that you can do. And if you're in some of the flood-prone areas, hopefully you had federal flood insurance, and if necessary, that you had excess flood insurance on top of that. As far as FEMA assistance, FEMA assistance is now available. The number for FEMA is 800-621-FEMA. 800-621-FEMA will get you through to FEMA, start the claim process for your federal flood insurance. If you've got a good insurance agent, a good insurance company that you work with, get a hold of your agents and let them start processing and getting your claim in queue. I know people that have already had adjusters from the casualty companies, property and casualty, already contact them. Some have already come by already. I mean,
that's amazing service.
Some of the companies are doing a very good job. Don't trust door to door. Be very leery. Anything door to door. Andrew, did you want to add to that? Andrew?
Yeah, there is a warning out there by FEMA.
Go ahead, read it.
About scams that are out there already.
So I have that as well.
Is that the official warning,
yeah.
Andrew?
I bet.
Residents should be aware that con artists and criminals may try to obtain money or steal personal information through fraud or identity theft after Hurricane Helene. In some cases, thieves try to apply for FEMA assistance using names, addresses, and Social Security numbers that they have stolen from people affected by the disaster. If a FEMA inspector comes to your home and you did not submit a FEMA application, your information may have been used without your knowledge to create a FEMA application. Also, ask for the ID. They ought to have total federal FEMA identification. If this happens, inform the inspector that you did not apply for FEMA assistance so they can submit a request to stop further processing so your payment doesn't go to some scam artist, lowlife piece of dog turd on the bottom of your shoe.
Right.
Yep. Protect yourself. Listen, if it doesn't seem right, it's not. Go with reputable companies for service and for restoration. Be careful of the door-to-door folks. You don't want the gypsies rolling through or other, traveler types that are going to try to rip people off, get cash deposits, and you never see them again. Just be very, very careful out there, folks, as I always say at the end of the show. Anything else before we end the Tuesday broadcast?
I think we covered it.
What do we have? We have some tickets to give away. The freestyle.
Freestyle. There you go.
Yeah. It is Freestyle Free-for-All Tour. It's going to be at the Kia Center in Orlando. It's going to be Saturday, October 5th. Yeah. Expose, Lisa.
Both of them?
No, lots of them.
What, Lisa and Lisa?
No, dude. Oh, yeah. Both Lisas will be. I even know. I know. Expose.
One Lisa.
So Expose. Come. What was that song? Come go with me. Come go. Expose.
Maybe we should have
Lisa. Right.
Maybe tomorrow we'll have a musical deep dive into what this concert's going to
baby,
hold.
gotta love you from head to toe.
I mean, we don't need to play clips from the songs. We can just have you sing them.
TKA, the Cover Girls, Freedom Williams of CNC. Everybody
dance now.
Coro, Brenda K. Starr, No Mercy, Cynthia, Lisette Melendez. Yeah, she's the sister for the Melendez.
Menendez.
Oh, that was Menendez.
All
right, sorry about that. Yeah, she wasn't there when the shotgunning happened. Giggles will be there. Johnny O, MGM, Guanera Brothers. Anyway, so
this list is getting a little long. People I've never heard of.
Yeah.
And now Giggles, everybody.
Yeah, all
Sounds
right.
like a
So
bad strip club.
yeah, here's the deal. Be caller number 21 right now. You got tickets to go to Orlando and see the show on Saturday, October 5th. Caller 21 right now. Good luck. 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. Folks, we'll see you back here tomorrow on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. And let's be careful out there. Don't miss Zero Res Carpet Cleaning's thrilling fall sale. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129 when you mention me, MJ, on Q105. Schedule online at